Hey, you guys see that guy get shot in New York?
I did.
No, what? I'm not with the news.
So the CEO of United Healthcare got murked.
I think executed, assassinated.
Yeah, well, this was a hit.
Yeah.
Somebody rolled up.
Can I say that I don't feel bad about
somebody rolled up on him with.
wrong?
So it's
Is that a hot
raised.
take?
It's no, it's not actually as hot. It's like a lukewarm take.
Yeah.
It's actually sparked a lot of those conversations.
And he got
I guess
away.
morally. Is
Joey,
it a hot take?
he got away on an e-bike.
But he got away?
Yeah,
He got shot and...
he was walking down the street there's footage of it. He's walking down the street
And it's
by
in
himself.
Midtown.
No,
Like
the
in
guy that
Midtown.
shot him got away.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like...
No, he's
I
dead.
thought you meant he got shot and then got up on an e-bike and
like
left.
guy pulled out a 9mm with a silencer on it. Pop, pop. And then walked
good.
up. And the gun, the gun jammed. He clears the jam, which means he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Pop,
You gotta
pop, two more.
re-slide.
So
Got on
there's
the
been
e-bike and got away.
Do you know how many people fucking got hurt and or die because of these motherfuckers?
There's been some discrepancy as to whether or not that gun was jamming or it's just the where he just has to clear it because of the back pressure of the silence.
Well, let me see what you've got there because I've seen 12 different. So they were interviewing some former law enforcement officer from New York City, and he says there's going to be footage. There's footage everywhere in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Let me see what you just showed.
Yeah, you can't hide. You can't.
Oh yeah, that's the same thing I saw. But the first shot didn't even take him down.
No, he's like stumbles off.
You probably don't know what happens when you get shot. If it's not like immediately fatal, you probably like have a moment where you don't know what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many
was-
cameras everywhere. Unless he like had already had escape route all the way out of town and into like upstate New York, then that'll be hard.
You'd think that, and they were like, he had a backpack. Did he have a change of clothes in there?
Maybe. And then apparently, I haven't done any of the fact checking. Obviously, I just read the but they have the highest denied claims annually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, historically, insurance companies I've dealt with over the years, United Healthcare is the
they're
worst.
all bad, but
I mean,
but yes,
you're right. They're all bad. But my personal experiences over the years has been the most challenging with United Healthcare. And I could probably bring my wife in here and she'd cut a promo on United Healthcare.
I mean, I was thinking about that actually just the other day because, like, news cycle has been very active. Even I'm not on the news cycle. I'm just like, why aren't there more like billionaires getting fucking assassinated? That's just like people get killed all the time for like right or wrong reasons, whatever. Some people have justification reasons why they kill people.
Right.
Why are none of these motherfuckers getting got?
So,
like, do you think that all you deserve to be shot and killed because you're a billionaire?
I don't.
I don't know this guy was a billionaire.
No, he's not. I'm not saying. I was just wondering, like, if this guy's getting murked, well, like, why is
the first thing that came to mind is like,
so,
did his
I
wife
don't
have him
know.
killed?
Like, I
That's
think
the
we've
first thing
talked
that
about
came
this
to
before.
mind for me.
I'm not sure if you can be a billionaire and be a good person.
Yeah, well, that may be fair.
And I'm not
But
sure you
just
can
'cause
be a
you're-
billionaire without hurting a lot of people directly or indirectly.
Like, just because you're a billionaire, just because you're not a good person doesn't mean you deserve to be killed.
No. But like, it's not that. Like, how many people?
Like Hove is a billionaire.
How many people has to be right? Doesn't
that haircut needs to get killed.
How many people has to be hurt for a business person to get to $1 billion? How many people have been hurt, are currently being hurt, and will be hurt because to have you be a billionaire?
I don't know, but I don't know that there's any way around that, right? Because at some level you're competing, right? It's like okay, like if you're going for a marathon, how many racers have to lose for one to win?
Right.
You know what I mean?
All of them but one.
But but the scope is different, right?
Hey, second place.
But more runners.
Second place, first
No,
place.
but like
Everybody's running.
I don't know. I haven't articulated this completely, but like it's just one of those things that makes sense to me. Like, for example, if there are world issues that you can literally just solve by throwing money at it, and you have the money, and you still have left. Like, okay, so the Zuckerberg. Recently, I saw on I don't know if this is true or not. He donated some money to Hawaii or whatever because of he likes Hawaii. It was like something in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and people are praising him for it. I'm like, that is fucking pocket change. That's like you giving me a standing ovation for giving a homeless guy $5.
Yeah.
Like, that's like that makes me more mad. And also, like, I get mad every time I see people asking for donations for stuff. And every single time a nurse comes down and pick up for a patient and they pay for them, because these are people asked to be generous, asked to give and do and feel good about it and feels obligated to give what little they have for the greater good or for the fellow man. Meanwhile, like, why does that have to happen when a dude can literally just throw out pocket change?
You're right. Like,
and fucking like, no,
giving,
if one of these motherfuckers paid for everyone's copay for one day, it wouldn't fucking affect them. All right, that's. I'm getting too heated for this.
I hear you, but nobody has like my point of view is like nobody has to do shit.
No, well, but that's the gray area, right?
And that doesn't make you a bad person.
Let's go back to this gentleman who was not a billionaire who got killed.
Yeah.
First thing that came to my mind is his wife. His wife had it.
Mom, or kid.
Wife,
mom, or kid. That was went through my head.
Did you not watch Law? Was it Law Abiding Citizen?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The movie.
Is it that one? No, there was one where a guy's wife got denied for cancer, and then she didn't want to burn the family, and she killed herself, and this guy just went on a rampage and killed everybody.
Man on Fire?
Yeah, that one.
With Denzel Washington?
Yeah, that was where he was from Louisiana, but talked like he was still from somewhere else.
Yeah.
She was talking like from Denzel.
Yeah. Like he was from the Denzel.
But I'm just like, why hasn't this happened yet? And I'm guessing it's starting to happen now.
Yeah, I don't know.
This sets a precedent, though. This is unprecedented, but this sets a precedent. These other motherfuckers better watch out.
Well, so that was one thing. They're like, is it common for a CEO of a company to wander around the streets of New York by themselves? Apparently, he had gone outside to smoke, is what someone had said.
And they said that this dude was there, like tracking the fucking area.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was there for maybe like all day. Like he knew the dude, was a bit of his routine.
This was at 6:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
NYPD shift change at 7 a.m. So it's almost like he knew there would be a gap. Yeah. And even the law enforcement guy, he used to be something with NYPD. He said that's the time where you're like, cool, I get to go home in 15 minutes. So everybody's kind of like calming down a little bit and getting ready just to go home and we'll do whatever, and then boom, you got detectives everywhere from both shifts. It's just like a Law and Order episode.
Yeah,
this will be a Law and Order episode next season, I guarantee it. Rip from the headlines.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting case study because, like, like a lot of these, a lot of that shit is a fucking racket, and they take advantage of a lot of people, and it's unfortunate. I don't like to see anybody get murdered in the fucking streets. You know what I mean? But
in broad daylight in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah, but it, I don't know if it will be a reality check for anybody, but I do hope that people give more of a fuck about people.
Yeah.
Well, that's like you say that in the same breath as no one has to do anything for anybody.
Yeah,
it's both true.
Two things can be true.
But things break down somewhere once it gets to a certain point. And I don't put all the I don't know if I've talked about this before. I don't blame everything on the insurance companies or these people themselves because of the system, right? If you think about, I don't know if people will understand what insurance means or what it is because the way we're raised in this society, you buy into a thing that will give you coverage. Mm-hmm. And that people are mad to get denied for pre-existing condition or whatever, right? I understand that because of the system we're in, I'd be mad at it too. But if you look at it, it's a system's fault for the country not taking care of its citizen. Because what insurance are, if you think car insurance, right? Insurance means in case of shit happening, you are covered. It's basically a little savings account.
Right.
You're putting money into it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And the guy who's taking you on, the insurance company, don't have to. Like, why would I, for example, you're on this $600 medication every month, this blood thinner, and you say your premium is $100. Why do you think someone is going to take $100 from you and then give you $500?
Right.
And why are they obligated to that, right? They shouldn't be. But because
it's not the greatest business plan, I guess.
Right. So I understand denying pre-existing condition makes sense in terms of the concept of insurance. But because our country's healthcare is so fucked up and we depend on insurance, we treat insurance as if it's a utility, which it shouldn't be.
I agree.
It should be getting taken care of. It should be on top of things, just like life insurance.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
So these guys are definitely bad guys, but they're also not wrong at the same time. Like, they are a symptom of the problem.
Right.
I just want people to understand, I understand why they're mad, and they should be mad, but they should be mad at the right thing. I think they're pointing it in the wrong direction sometimes because they don't understand how the system works.
Yeah, or who to or who to take it out on. You know, like I think that like I was just in a circumstance recently that I can't talk too much about, but someone was getting aggressive in my presence, threateningly so. And it's been a while since I've been in that space, and I found myself in that space again. And it was like an old shoe in some ways, but that person was looking for the least. That person was feeling emotions about something else and was looking for the path of least resistance to exercise those emotions. And I happened to be the catalyst that represented, you know, those emotions. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You know,
people take things out on other people. Yes.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I think that sometimes people don't know how to handle things, and I'm not judging this guy. But like you, Chris, when I saw it, I was like, mom, wife, or kid.
Yep.
It's got to be one of the three.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like, I think that I don't disagree with like that they're fucking it's greedy and racket and all this shit. I just don't think that like it's slippery, man, because like it's
hard to pinpoint.
If today like fucking Skullface reviews became, everybody who got into third party Transformers and Skullface reviews became the most important thing on the planet, and I became a billionaire overnight, I don't deserve death.
No, but you're also the person who immediately started like fucking flushing money down the toilet at things you believe in.
Yeah.
I don't see you as a person who would be like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy a yacht that has its own yard and a boat inside the yacht.
No,
like you're not that kind of person.
But I've never been faced with that opportunity either.
That's true.
He could employ up to 20 people full time, according to some of those reality shows about yachts. And they could have illustrious sexual affairs in the undercarriage of the boat while they're serving you strawberries.
While I'm not like an entitled person, I assume that if you became a billionaire overnight, that Chris and I wouldn't have to work anymore.
Yeah, that's probably
like
fair.
not because I feel like I deserve it. I feel like you're the kind of person who would be like, "Here's a bunch of money, guys. We can just podcast all day."
If you look at $200K to do a podcast, Bobby, I'm fine with that.
If you look at anything that I've ever done, I've always tried to grab people and take them with me.
Right. So,
but like I think that people do that too. But I think that their net is a little bit smaller. I think a lot of people, like if you look at a lot of people that are like super wealthy, a lot of the people that are like the close in their inner circles are all people from their past that they're like, all right, look, we're all going.
The entourage.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
It's just like
100%.
It's just like a sliding scale is a thing, right? Because money is exponential. It's not like food, or it's not a commodity that the cap rising and what it does for you is different. It's not a prorated thing. Once you get to a certain amount of money, it doesn't do anything. I mean, like you see the memes all the time of people don't understand the number of billion. They don't understand exactly how big it is when you compare a billion to a million.
Right.
I don't know, man. I think we had this privately in chat before. Like I don't know the solution to things, but one of the things I threw out there, because you don't want to cap people's money, right? You don't, but that's a freedom of thing.
So go ahead, but I got something for this.
And my idea was just throwing it out there was the highest salary person can only make certain amount times higher than the lowest person. For example, if you can only make 10 times the amount of money that your lowest paid employee gets paid, I think that would solve a lot of problems.
So I think I think there was one thing that used to happen. I have this discussion with conservatives often when I'm arguing them, is that because I've caught a lot of heat recently from my viewer and listenership.
From which side?
The liberal side.
Okay, not from both. You don't see things from both sides.
I do see things from both sides. Joseph, aren't I fucking something? But
good people.
But I've caught a lot of flack recently from these folks that,
because they lost, right?
Yeah. But they don't understand that I argue the other side all the fucking time too.
It's always that way. If you're left of them, you're too left. If you're right of them, you're too right. It's never right.
So like you take like the numbers are arbitrary to me.
Yeah.
So forgive me.
Yeah.
But you take like the slogan "Make America Great Again," right? When you think of that slogan, it's again, right?
Yeah.
So when do you think?
I don't.
No. Yeah. When do you think he thinks was the OG?
Reagan.
The 80s.
The Reagan administration.
Okay.
I think most people that are diehard Republicans think of the Reagan years as the best the greatest America ever.
Didn't he do a lot of damage?
He's a horrible person. Unrelated.
That's not the point. What about you?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't understand the slogan.
Okay, so in my mind, it's like the 50s. It's like the guy in his car, and he goes to the diner, and like the poodle skirts, and like everybody's outside mowing their lawn. Like, hey, howdy, neighbor.
Was I allowed to do that in the 50s?
Leave it to Beaver. I don't know. I wasn't.
Like if I wasn't allowed to do it, it wasn't that great.
Joey, I'm not debating whether the time was great or not. I'm debating what he thinks is the right time.
I'm just wondering why they think.
So it doesn't matter. Let me land. Let me fucking land.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, right? During that time, and numbers are arbitrary to me.
Okay.
If you owned a business, you could make, here comes the arbitrary part, $1 million a year at whatever the going tax rate was, 30%, 40%. On the $1,000,001, that first dollar and everything after it was taxed at 90%. And then later on, it was deregulated. And I think what I'm saying is, if they perhaps did that, where they was like, look, you can make as much money as you want, right? But after this, whatever, like you take $1 million in 1953, and then you bring it over to 2024. Whatever $1 million was in 1953, and like I said, it could be $100 million for all the fuck I know, Joey. But
the arbitrary limit of whatever it was,
lots of money. And you bring that over to 2024, and then say, at this point though, 90% is getting taxed. No ifs, ands, or buts. No loopholes. No nothing. What was your net? Cool. This from this point to this point is getting 90%.
That sounds fair.
So what I think it could do is it did it. Well, I should say I don't know if it could or couldn't. What it did back then was it kept CEOs from making over a certain amount of money. They tried. So like if they were like, fuck, we're going to pull in $2 million this year. Well, I'd rather dump that extra $1 million into my employees than dump that $1 million into my pocket.
Yeah.
Is what it ended up doing, because I'd rather my employees eat than Uncle Sam.
So we are heading the same direction from
100%. I was just giving you another option.
But it didn't end up the same, because regardless, your solution is good because, this thing was good because even if they're like, fuck it, we ball, and then they pay a bunch of taxes, it's still supposed to help us because tax is supposed to help us people.
Yeah. And it was still a significant amount of money. Like you know, like you're a CEO. You did whatever you had to do to be a CEO, and you should make a fuck ton of money. But after this point, you're either going to give it to me, or you're going to give it to them.
Right. That's why I was thinking the cap of like making only so much percentage of your lowest employee, because then you have to, like, if you want to make more money, then you have to give your people more money.
And I get that too. I think my and I don't care either way. Whatever levels the playing field in some regard, I'm ultimately there for.
Because it's not about communism.
I don't know about. Obviously I don't get numbers a lot of times, but like I'd have to see like what does 10% of $1 billion mean for the guy who like is there on a work, like you take like a grocery store, right? And the guy that's there through a social program to work there to move carts around in the, parking lot. So like if you're making enough money where that guy would be making like $100,000 a year or some shit, I'm saying that perhaps that's not appropriate either.
Well, but it would be, because everyone would be doing it. It's everyone who's on that level would be making the money, right?
Well, no, because theoretically you could be part of a corporation that was making a ton more money, and then you have a person moving carts around in the parking lot that's making $100,000, and then you have a cop working for a municipality that's making $20,000.
It sounds like the janitors at Intel,
or something.
Got stock options in the 80s and are now all millionaires,
right?
And
I think even that's more acceptable, because at least then it's like you're buying into the company. The company, like
stock option
we're a quote unquote family, right? Like that kind of thing.
The other thing you have to keep in mind, and it's stockholders, right? Reporting to Wall Street. I mean, look, this is how the game's played. So much of that is
that's where the game is rigged.
That's where I've always pinpointed. Like, I've decided over the years, trying to think of where like problem with greed and money and all that, and the system as a whole. Like in the past few years, I've pinpointed to that. That was the bane of humanity. The invention and publicly traded companies.
Yeah.
The stock market itself, the existence of the stock market is the bane on progress.
There's this comedian clip going around now that's like his whole bit is like, do you know that we go out of our way to make shit shittier for us? Mm-hmm. Like we turn the stock market off.
Yeah.
At night, like we just, and then the next morning we turn it all back on.
Yep.
And it's like, and like
they ring the bell and shit.
At nighttime, like the difference in your like quality of life is no different necessarily than the daytime, and it's like a funny bit that he does. But yeah. So with that, Joey, you got your coffee first. Chris, how was your nerd week? Nerd weeks.
Well,
both of you guys missed last week.
I did some traveling, and as you guys know, with travel sometimes comes a soundtrack. So, ladies and gentlemen, Pinkerton has returned from Alabama.
Where you from? Your hometown.
Shout out to the Foggy Mountain Breakdown by Flat and Scruggs. It's quite a jam. You let me know when I should turn this off for copyright.
It
You can
sounds
talk over
the
for all I
same
care.
as like any of the maybe my inexperienced music. Is it like Conway Twitty? Is that?
No, it wouldn't have been Conway Twitty. So, Bobby, did you know that the trains were invented in 1804?
I did not.
Yeah. Before that, they ran wagons on your mom. This is a good one.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
So I was prepared for war with the travel. It's the biggest travel.
Oh,
biggest
Thanksgiving. That's what it was.
of the century and all that stuff. So, we get to the airport and we get up at, this was last Tuesday or whatever. We got up at I got up at 2:30.
That was when my dentist appointment was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why my mouth was hurting, so I woke up at 2:30. That's a new one. Because, of course, we had some well fiasco the night before, and I couldn't take a shower, so I'm like, I've got to take a fucking shower before I get on this airplane. So get everybody rounded up, get everything loaded. When we're outside, me and Mason are putting the last suitcases in the back of the truck. We hear this animal, and it literally sounds like a woman screaming.
Is that a goat?
I don't.
No,
I think we figured out. I think we figured out it was like just a puppy that was just yelping super loud, like they left a puppy out overnight. But it was dead silent. Just all of a sudden, you heard this awful noise. Anyways, get loaded up, get to the air. So my plan was executed perfectly.
Okay.
I would say the plan was, because we had 5 check bags and then 3 of us had a backpack. So the plan was I pull up, drop them off at the curb. They're going to go ahead and tag the bags, which Southwest, I give them credit. They don't do a lot of things I care for, but they let you check your bags, and all you do before you get there, you just scan your boarding pass and it prints all your shit for you. You don't have to stand there and check a bunch of buttons. So I went to there's several ways to park at BWI. You can park in one of the lots, you can park in the garage, or you can park in the attached garage. The attached garage is $30 a day now. The covered garage that you have to take the tram to it used to be 12, now it's 16. So I took the car there, took the tram back, went through security, everything was good. You guys ever flown Southwest before? Why do you laugh?
I have. I don't know.
Well,
I might have, but I only fly like United.
I know. Well, Southwest does
I don't know if I have the right one.
We'll find out.
Wait, no, I don't think I do. Let me fix it.
There's no telling what that would have been. So
I'd like to find out.
Let's see. I only fly.
You only fly Southwest?
Well, no. I only fly Southwest when I have more than 2 people to take somewhere. I fly Delta almost exclusively outside of that for work and stuff. Well, hey, at least Joey's paying for his. I'm not paying for most of mine. So the way Southwest works, for those that don't know, is it's open seating, which gives me a ton of anxiety.
Like a theater?
Yeah.
You just fucking get on?
So
That's
you're
wild.
hang on. Your boarding pass has a number on it.
Yep.
It'll either start with A, B, or C. If it's C, you're fucked. Right. So boarding group A, we were like A50 through 55, which I'm like, that's fine. We'll be able to sit together enough or whatever. So normally A1 through 15 is like you can buy the upgrade to, get on early or whatever. It's like $15-20. I was like, I would probably do it if it was just me, but then I'm paying and I looked, it was $25 each way per person. So I'm like, that's $250 I can save. I won't do that.
It's not a long flight. You don't have to sit together.
Right. It was a 2-hour flight. It's not bad because we flew to Nashville. So we get to lining up and we get in our spot and I'm looking like there's nobody in A1 through 15 at all. So normally it's like if you're some sort of super status with them, you'll be up there too. Nobody. So we load on, and Kelly and I actually get the exit row with a seat empty between us. The kids sat in front of us.
That's awesome.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, no doubt.
So get to Nashville, no problem. Get a little hiccup getting the rental car. I will say, and I still need to yell at Hertz about this. I requested a van because I figured that was the cheapest way to get that much space, although it was still like $650 for the week. The van's exactly what it said it would be, except it's filthy. Like there's sticky, spilled shit all over the cup holders. My daughter's in the very back, and there's like a piece of broken glass in the cup holder.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and this is a brand new van with 10,000 miles on it. So somebody has dogged this out, and they didn't clean it.
What the fuck?
I feel like at the very least you need to have them come in like, look, this is how I found this.
Well, I took pictures, and
it wasn't me.
I took pictures and sent it to their customer service, and they said to talk to the manager at the first of all, it's going to take me 45 minutes to find a manager. It's also late at night when we got back. Anyway, so drive down to stopped and ate at Cracker Barrel.
Nice.
Their portions, I swear, shrink every time I go there.
Do they? It's not like
hash brown casserole. It's like.
But is the game still there?
Oh, the peg game's still there.
Oh, I love the pegging.
I think of Joey every time I see it. But I'm an Ignara-Moose according to it because I left 4 on the peg game.
I think that's probably the time.
Ignara-Moose.
Yep.
I'll send you the correct spelling from the peg game.
It sounds like a transformer.
Yeah, it does. So getting down to my folks' house, and it's great to see them. They hadn't seen the kids in a long. My kids have completely all physically changed since the last time they saw them. So just hanging out. Didn't do much. Did we do anything on Monday? Or it was Tuesday when we got down there. Just kind of hung out there, goofed off with my dad outside some. My aunt came over, my dad's only sister. It's good to see her.
That's cool.
I didn't realize she'll be 80 years old this year. But she travels all the time. Like she's gone to New Zealand and Iceland. And
good for her, man.
She has a photography like social account and stuff. She's really, really good landscape photographer and stuff like that.
Good for her.
And it's awesome that, I think so many people, and her husband passed away, my Uncle Roy passed away, it's probably been almost 10 years ago now. And you see so many people when their spouse leaves them that they're just like
crumple.
They literally just sit in a chair and die,
crumble.
right? But
I said crumple. Crumble.
Not crumple?
I think I took crumble and cripple and merged.
I thought crumple was a word.
It is. You got crumple up a piece of paper.
Oh,
yeah.
I should have let it ride.
Yes. They both work. Fall to pieces. That's one way. Some people just die really, really shortly after their spouse die.
They do. And I think you die of a broken heart, but you just sit there and let yourself waste away. So
just like Padme.
Pretty much.
That was pretty immediate.
Pretty much. So.
she no longer wished to live.
True love.
What did the robot say?
Lost the will.
We went
Ooba.
It is a radical fun of Jawa.
And that thing came out.
Well, no.
No,
it is offspring.
It got busy.
Yeah.
Are you an angel?
God, dude.
I hear the deep space.
I'm a person. My name's Anakin.
Spinning's a good trick.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Kid.
I done lost my place here.
Sorry.
Talking about episode 1.
Want to just shit on that some more?
Let's see. So, Thanksgiving was fantastic, meal-wise. I literally was the last one there eating. Everyone else had left.
Hell yeah.
Had left the table. I'm like, y'all some bum asses. I'm on my second plate. Fantastic.
Nice.
So on Thanksgiving Day, it was my 5, then my mom and dad, and my dad's sister, previously mentioned, and then my mom's sister, who I call Nene to this day. Her name is Nita. Her name is Juanita, and she was born in Gurley, Alabama, and I don't know why in the world. I guess they were running out of names because it's been fucking kids.
It sounds exotic.
Juanita.
They put out this exotic name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The craziest name I've ever heard for a family member is Mom Goodies.
I'm sorry.
She's passed now, God bless the dead. But a buddy of mine had, I think, a grandmother-in-law named My Mom Goodies. You'll never believe what area.
Where?
Middle River. Dundalk's cousin.
Yeah. Dundalk's cousin.
Dundalk's
I haven't heard that one before, but yes, it's true.
Yeah.
So my parents have YouTube TV.
First cousin.
Is my first experience with YouTube TV.
Okay. I'm not familiar.
It's so basically it's like having cable, but it's all through your YouTube. So like all the local channels, all the Discovery and all that shit.
So
yeah.
we're just recreating TV networks.
Yeah, and I think it's considerably cheaper than satellite or cable or whatever. So, it's interesting. It definitely is interesting to experience that. Just 'cause I know a lot of people do use that. Had some of those conversations with my dad.
Political conversation?
No, well, I wasn't going to talk about that.
Oh, okay. Which conversations?
Just we're going to die someday, and it's sooner than later conversations.
Oh, yeah.
So, he was kind of giving me the rundown on how some things are going to happen and what happens. And
it's all a mystery to me, buddy.
Yeah. So,
I have plenty of suspicions, but
about what?
Like my dad, if I were to say to my dad, hey, Dad, you want to talk about your affairs at all? He'd be like, I don't believe it's any of your business, Bob.
Okay, well, I mean, my parents told me
period
everything they said.
And I would disagree. I think your parents are right and mine is wrong, but that's, I'm sure, how it would go.
They went to a planner and, Bob, they already had.
I mean, good on them.
Did you know people gift burial plots?
Oh, yeah.
So my parents' burial plots were gifted to them by my grandparents who are in the vault, which I think is weird.
Yeah.
At Memory Gardens in Huntsville, Alabama.
Is that weird?
Being like in the vault, like their body is in this vault in a wall.
Is that weird?
I think it's. I think
isn't that like a mausoleum?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like
normal,
a private mausoleum. They're just like you go to the wall and all right, well, there's my grandparents.
I would say weird only in the sense that less common than a grave.
Okay, so in Hong Kong, well, first of all, I don't see commercial. Well, I haven't watched commercials in a long time, but like in Asian land where I'm from, it's very common to have caskets and funeral homes on commercials. Mm-hmm. So like that's very.
So I have a feeling in Asia land, part of the reason that they would do that is space.
Yeah. Well, in my part of Asia land,
you can go up as high as you want.
Because like China is large, Hong Kong is
China.
small.
Let's try to get a sponsorship from Thacker Caskets,
bro.
Hey, listen. People are
sponsor the shit out of them.
People are dying to get in there.
But you can't. It's really hard. So like my grandma died a couple years ago. God bless the dead.
God bless the dead.
God bless the dead.
It's not. It sucks because fall is my favorite season.
Yeah.
It was. It still is. But like
tainted
because everything dies.
So like 2 years ago, my grandma died. Like the day.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, the day before Thanksgiving.
My grandma died in November also.
And then my cat died.
In November.
A couple weeks ago. So like it's just that time of year. It's like, well,
yeah, who's next?
It's kind of like it kind of like makes the whole time around it. Instead of being Thanksgiving, like, oh, this is the time my grandma died.
So my grandma used to say, because she was ready, she had been ready to go for a while, right? Like, and she was fine.
Yeah.
She had like towards the end a couple falls and that sort of thing. But I was like, it's crazy because I think about like my wife used to like go over and bathe her sometimes.
Yeah.
And like she was, I don't even know. I guess she was my wife, but like, let me tell you who I would not go and bathe. My wife's grandma.
You don't have a relationship with her,
even
like
if I did, because I was
Grandpa, would you? Mm-mm. You just won't bathe anybody.
I mean, I'm not gonna say anybody, but I bathe my kids and I would bathe my wife. But I can't imagine. I think that's where the buck stops with me with bathing. But I say
not your pops.
No,
not Joan.
No.
Could you imagine?
Joan's got her own son.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah. But anyway, I forgot why I brought this up.
I was talking about.
My grandma used to say, because she was like, I'd be like, "You're gonna live forever," and she'd be like, "Don't you wish that on me?" And then, but she would say, I would be like, "Well, don't go too soon," don't go too soon. And she would say, "Well, if you live through winter, you'll make it through the year." It's like what she used to say. And then she died in November. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And so it's not unless you're super wealthy, you actually can't get a plot in Hong Kong. So
because the value of the land.
and also like most people get cremated for that reason,
Right.
And also you rent places to put bodies and bones and urns, because people don't make a habit of keeping urns at home like they do in American land. So like they have like a bunch of billies, kind of a building full of billies.
Oh, nice.
And then you have to rent the little billy spaces and to put the urn.
Just another subscription service.
But it is though. Like at some point,
What about? Do they have cremation premium? Is there like a
I don't know yet.
more dollars a month you get? Is it like a Patreon? Bobby, here is the ultimate tier, the cremation tier.
So,
well, if you or your family dies, you can display your urn in Bobby's collection room.
Oh, bro,
it's $100 a month.
On one of these shows, you can see it on
you
video.
You have to pay.
You're in every sit down Saturday.
Well,
you or your family will be visible on every sit down Saturday.
Well, there'll be different price too. Top shelves cost more.
Sure, top shelf. Yeah, it's $120 a month.
I like to think of them as tiers, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Hey, I see what you did there. You're so sad all the time.
I do this.
My mom had to like go. My parents are going to go back to move my grandma last year. Because like not only do you have to like rent out a space, but like they can cancel. It's like a lease. They can like you have to re-up the lease, or like they like no.
They'll evict you.
Yeah, they evict you.
So
like my grandma had to be moved last year.
You're telling me
to a different place
in Hong Kong. There's an opportunity for me to buy abandoned storage lockers, but it's just ashes. Yeah. Dude, that would be so funny if they took like some of these people that do those storage container wars or whatever, and like go to Hong Kong and buy it's like it's
all
nothing
dead
but
people.
Urns. What am I going to do with all this chocolate grandpa?
I think they dump them out because after a while nobody pays for it, right? Because after a while you
well, if everybody dies,
exactly,
that's probably why they don't.
Yeah, and then they just dump them out somewhere.
Well,
I guess
I'll tell you, I plan like I'm getting cremated.
Same.
And there's no reason for me to have any real estate after my leaving of this vessel.
Demise.
Yeah.
You don't want to donate your bodies? I'm donating my body to science.
I mean, if they want to cut some organs out before they burn me, I'm completely fine with that.
That too. I mean, like, it's not just that, right?
I
It's
know.
not just
I don't want to
donation.
go to the body farm. I don't want to rot in the woods. No.
No, you don't, not just. Well, that's what I would like if my body can't be used. But like, you don't want to be on display all
Jake Paul
plasticized.
take you to that
You
Japanese
don't wanna be
forest.
like,
and
yeah,
then
that too.
Put your body there.
You don't want to explode a view of your organ in plastic.
Well, I'm not going to see it, so
I do not.
no, I'm good on that. But anyways,
not a plastic fanatic.
I don't. No. And that guy's got beef with me anyway.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
hey. Speaking of missing persons,
Yeah.
James just vanished.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's heard or seen him.
I know. And it was after he had that beef with me. I mean, that's when he disappeared.
Are you trying to say something?
No.
Don't beef with Bobby.
No. I've never even been out there.
Does this relate to the United Healthcare thing?
No. I don't know why. Like, it was the weirdest thing.
A million years ago.
Yeah.
So some of those conversations with my dad about, it's like, we've done this, and
That's great that they planned it out.
they have a safe in their house, and I know the combination of everything you need is in there. There's books and passwords, everything you'll need, and it's like, you have to wait X amount of days for them to get the money, to whatever inheritance or whatever, that'll be done.
They really took care of their affairs,
and
man.
my aunt, I was just talking about that travels. She's got all her ducks in a row too. She's, he was telling me all that, and like my brother's the executor of her will in case, as a backup in case she outlives my dad or whatever. So,
do you have any of your shit together, or you just like?
I mean,
let the law, because like
I have
legally, your shit would just defer to like your wife, right?
Honestly, it's something I've been meaning to do, because I think you can just do a will online now, even like with LegalZoom. Just this goes here. I think at the end of the day, it just makes it easier for your family to have that, and so you don't have to go to probate court and fight over. No, that I am. Yeah, we are married, so
Yeah.
But my dad's a lifelong Republican, right?
Mine
in his garage, in his workshop, there is going back to Bush Cheney yard signs. He did stop in 2016. He has nothing past that. But I don't
even know where you buy those from. When I see them on people's lawn,
you donate.
Well, no, you can just go get them from
Home Depot.
From wherever the like the Republican headquarters.
Oh, right. Can
I tell you where the Republican headquarters was in Carroll County?
Sure.
So you take 27 all the way to Westminster.
Yeah.
And you know where like you turn there to go to the mall?
Yep.
All right, but if you go right past there, you can turn back and it cuts through to like where Walmart is, kind of sort of.
Yeah, I've been to that Walmart.
So somewhere between those 2 points, there was like I'm going to say a trailer you might sell hot dogs out of. Maybe ice cream. That was the Republican headquarters in Carroll County.
I like to think of it more of an outpost.
That's probably a better way to say it.
Good word.
I'm trying to remember. We were talking about someone doing something, about not talking about the good someone's done. And my dad says, well, you know, Trump's done a lot of, he's donated to a lot of people. He's done a lot of good stuff. I said, oh, what? Like not letting black people live in his buildings in the 80s? And then Mason said something just as snappy at him too. And he never mentioned it again.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, come on.
I won't.
I'm not going to like brag on any of them people. That's as far as I went. Because he knows. Because last time I was there, he immediately, like, we sat down to eat lunch and he immediately started talking about politics. I'm like, I am not here for that.
Because he's old. That's what old people do. My dad's the same way. My dad never talked about politics. Like it just wasn't on his radar.
We didn't until like Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, fucking Fox News. That's what caused. We used to not fucking talk about it. Is politics, religion, you didn't talk about.
Yeah.
And, I think the...
So like politics, religion, and sex, right? Like there's like the three that you're supposed to avoid. But like I've always talked about religion and sex. And politics is
What's
like...
the right place? If you're sitting at a table with people your age, your group of friends, to talk about politics, that's cool. But like, you don't... If someone visit you, you immediately start talking to them about politics. It's wild to me.
It's weird.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I work in a very conservative environment.
Same.
And I just...
At home?
Well, my job entails a lot of
Same.
conservative views.
Yeah.
That's probably the way to say that. And often I never engage.
Yeah.
I just normally, I hear ya, or just ignore it because it's like I'm at work.
That's what I try to do.
And my political views are honestly just. I don't have super strong political views, especially not strong enough for me to cut a promo on somebody on a work Zoom call. Right?
Well, I told you what my favorite thing is to talk to the person that's really into a political candidate and tell them how much of a fan I am of them. And for reasons that I know would piss them off.
You would have to. That would be research on your part to know what to say.
So with Biden people, I would always talk about like, because we needed to get out of Afghanistan, and sure, all these people were lost as a result, and sure, the country is plunged. Like and all, and you can see they want, but because I'm praising him, they just like let it ride. And I did the same. I did the same thing with Trump. Where I was like, because really, I mean, the vaccine is here because of him. We wouldn't have had that vaccine if they fucking hate the vaccine. So they don't want to agree with me, but they won't disagree with me because it's their guy. I love it. I love it.
That's why Bobby studies on politics. He studies politics on all sides so he can shit on everybody.
He's an equal opportunity
because
shitter.
Politicians do nothing but shit on us.
Yes, that's true.
That's fair. So, Huntsville, where I grew up, has grown so much, leaps and bounds. I mean, it's just like swaths of highway side
paved roads.
Well, that is new, but I mean, just this was nothing but cotton or just farmland, and now it's like the family sold it, and now it's like I didn't realize how much land these people own. Oh my God, they've probably built 400 houses,
really,
and not that many, probably 100 businesses between restaurants and car washes. Car washes are everywhere. Those tunnel car washes. Oh my God. I swear the drive I used to make from work to go to work every day, there's probably 12 fucking tunnel car washes on the way now.
Jesus.
It's crazy.
People love washing the cars.
I guess they even built one out in the little town my parents live in, which the other car wash went out. The spray yourself one. They never had any soap, so it's probably why they went out.
I haven't washed my car since the 90s, I think.
I've gotten to where
I just let them rinse it off every time I take it out and get oil change.
Well, I try to up here because of the salt, the stuff they put on the roads is a lot.
Yeah.
And my dad always said, don't ever buy a car from up north. And God, I've seen some pickup trucks that are holding that bed on for dear life right now.
Oh yeah, it's just all rusted. But
you don't see that a lot down south.
I mean, that's why one of the reasons I took my car to the dealership to get oil change and service. Like, they usually wash your shit and like at least it's like all.
You need to get it. Like my issue, like I don't
like original
necessarily
parts,
want to dig too deep into this, but like up here, you need a wax. Like in order to make the paint really last.
Well, I look like the Karate Kid over here.
yeah. But that's the thing. I don't want to do that shit either. But it's like that's the shit that really protects your fucking paint. You know?
I haven't had any rust on any of my cars. I have my cars.
How long do you keep your cars? You also park in a garage.
Only now. Before this house, I never had a garage.
But I haven't had rust. But like before we leave, actually when you head out today,
I see that. I don't understand where that comes from because
it's paint deterioration from the shit that it experiences. Right. But that's because it doesn't have a wax coating.
And also
maybe my dealership waxes my shit because I have my cars upwards to 8 to 10 years and I've never had that issue. But I do see that a lot.
You just had this last one for 4, right? 20.
Yeah, but the car before that was 8.
Oh, let me know when you get your car. I want to drive it.
You want to
drive your new Subaru?
It's coming on the 15th, I think. Are you going to fit in it?
I'll fit in it enough to take it on the interstate.
Cool. Let's go to Waffle House.
Hell yeah, dude. That's always a great stop. I did not go to Waffle House while I was in Alabama. I did wear my Waffle House.
You went to Cracker Barrel, though, so.
I went to Cracker Barrel.
Next best thing.
I prefer Waffle House, but
I did figure out that I think the Dollar General sign and the Waffle House sign are the same color and font.
Are they owned by the same people? They could be. You never know.
I did go in several Dollar Generals while I was down south because they're,
I think still $1 really in there.
Well, no, that's Dollar Tree.
That's Dollar Tree.
Dollar General.
It's generally around $1.
So
is that what that means?
Well, no, it's not even that. It's cheap, and they have an interesting business model. So let's say that you're going to buy some dish detergent, like some Dawn dish detergent, and I don't know, a normal size bottle at Walmart is $5.
Okay,
right? It's probably more than that, but what they sell at Dollar, let's say that I have no idea. Let's say it's 40 ounces.
We don't know about numbers. Make up numbers.
That all checks out.
The one it's $5.
In Alabama, yes,
it's $5. So you do the math on however much it is.
40 ounce. All right.
They'll sell at Dollar General a 30 ounce for $3.
Okay, which is like
or something like that.
Right,
so it's a smaller. Oftentimes they do. I mainly like going in there because they have great snacks. They carry like the Arizona teas and stuff like that. I used to go.
Those are still $1, right?
Somehow these are still 99. So I have this giant. How many ounces is this? This is a giant
double can,
22 ounces.
Like that's when
Arizona
tea
tea
3 cans
for freaking 99 cents.
So that's when society is about to collapse. When Arizona iced tea is more than 99 cents, we're fucked.
So the CEO came out and said we make plenty of money, and I know a lot of people like $1 for a drink is unheard of now. Hell, a fucking 20-ounce soda is $2 or $2.50 at best.
Yeah, I mean that says something though of how much profit margin is. If he's like openly like, we're still making money off $1 when we're charging $1 for like last 30 years.
That's what I'm talking about.
You want to hear a funny story about Arizona tea? So in
kinda.
Okay.
I'm interested. I like the. I'm just kidding. I like the half and halves.
It's fair. I was trying to tell a story to my wife, and that was kind of the response I got. And I never did tell her the story, and then she was like, "What is this?" I'm like,
"You didn't want to know.
Are you ready to hear the story now?"
That was show her.
Yeah. Where was I? Shit.
A funny story about Arizona iced tea.
Oh yeah. So the plant where they make this stuff is in New Jersey. It's not horribly far from the city. I was working with one of the companies I do business with in my prior role, and they had a facility. Literally, it would be like it was probably the distance from y'all's houses apart.
Oh no shit!
Yeah. So it was a trucking facility that had non-potable water. You could not drink the water out of the faucets. That facility. And the Arizona, I'm like, please tell me they're bringing water in.
They're not using that water.
Is that what makes it taste so good? The non-potable part?
Jersey. Jersey part.
Non-potable means it's not fit for human drinking.
It has germs and shit in there.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Alabama has one thing that I know Mr. Scolfase is quite fond of, and that's the Bluebell ice cream.
Oh, dude.
I did not, but I ate a lot, and
that's good enough for me.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story.
In your honor,
yeah.
So my dad loved. They have a pralines and cream flavor, and I know you're a purist, Bob.
I am.
Only want the purist. But apparently, this is not a very commonly found item. My dad has hoarded about 5 or 6 gallons of this pralines and cream ice cream.
Really?
He just buys it when he finds it.
Yeah, it's not common.
It's not like a super common flavor with Bluebell. So I ate that shit every fucking night, man. That shit was fantastic.
Never get tired of it.
Yeah. And Sundrop. They have Sundrop. We don't have Sundrop. I bought a 12-pack of cherry lemon Sundrop. Anybody who lives in the South? It's so fantastic. It's like a cherry lime. You ever had a cherry limeade from Sonic, but just generically that flavor in a can?
In a can.
In a can. Yeah.
To me, vanilla ice cream is like cheese pizza. It's like the base that you can judge an ice cream company off of.
Yeah, if you fuck with vanilla, I'm not going to trust any of the other flavors.
Well, exactly. But also, if you nail the vanilla, everything's going to be lit.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, you can have a trash vanilla, but your cookies and cream is going to be fine. Your fucking cookie dough is going to be fine. Like, you put enough pepperoni on that fucking pizza, it's going to be fine. You know,
but we know they have a good base, so
that's what my thing with fucking Bluebell is. Their fucking, like, just their plain vanilla is so fucking good that it's like, I don't even, like, I'll eat their cookies and cream, but like, it's,
I guess.
You've reached the top of the mountain as far as I'm concerned. I'm happy with your base, sir. I'll take what I'm getting.
So I sent you a video.
A little crumb.
drip into my hand.
A little crumb ice cream, like Robin Hood with the beggar's cup.
I sent you guys a video of that cooler that was all the single serves. Yeah. So on the way, I can't think of anything else that was just like, oh, one more thing. So we went out on Black Friday, not to really just to go out. Mm-hmm. So like, there's a second. You guys know what Second and Charles is? It's like a think about like a Barnes and Noble, except they buy, sell, and trade.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we went in there, and the kids. I think last time we went, they had some crazy deal on manga, but this time it was not great. It was only like this one bin of books, and Mason. What's the name of that? I'm gonna say this wrong, but you're gonna know. Dan to Dan?
Yeah, it's the new hotness. It's on Netflix.
Is that what it's called?
I believe it's Thong to Thong.
Thong Thong.
So he was looking to buy.
That's one of my favorite bits of this show.
He was looking to buy those, but they were like, we didn't get anything there. We went to a couple like retro game stores. That's Mason's super into that, and just it's always interesting to see what people are doing in that space.
And retro, what things that we grew up with, you mean?
Well, sure, yeah.
Speaking of bits on this show, I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to last week's show, but Shang Li has, I think, created another bit for this show.
Oh, no.
So he listened to when you did the most attractive and unattractive. Yeah. And so
how many of those things could he do at once?
Well, so whenever he mentioned that he was reading, he would say, so anyway, I was reading this book, ladies. And then we started doing like, so anyway, I was listening to this audiobook. Sorry, ladies. And like,
that's funny. So, so we go to a couple other sports, and then we go to, it's Parkway Place Mall. It's the only indoor mall left in Huntsville. The other big mall is called Bridge Street, and it's all outdoors, and the weather was pretty shitty.
Both towns are done. Malls are done.
So I wasn't necessarily planning to go there, but a couple people asked in the car. I'm like, sure, we can go. And I had to keep reminding. Parking there was a fiasco, but nonetheless, I'm going to run through this. So they have parking like a normal. They also have a parking garage. Like I think it's
in Alabama.
Flex. It's 2 stories. So it's busy as hell. But the ramp to go up, they have parking slotted on the sides of that.
That's in Baltimore.
What the fuck? Yeah. You know how much of a clusterfuck that creates? That's awful.
We're used to it.
People trying to
get even in. I feel like that's most.
Listen, it ain't like that now. This is some. These
ain't like that where I'm from.
Maybe in your parking lot.
Listen, and when you've got a F-250 with an 8-inch lift and 34-inch mud grapplers, it's really hard to fucking park a goddamn Chrysler minivan next to this motherfucker. Anyways, we go to this mall. I shout out to my buddy Chris. This is a funny story. Chris, the old mall that they've torn down now, he managed the Hot Topic there. When I and he has Transformers tattoos. So I'm like, "What's up, dude?" So we just started bullshitting. And back then I was
like, "Hide me."
Well, okay. Well, this was. This is probably before you got back into Transformers. This was a long time ago. Yeah. But he and I became buddies. Like the first toy show I ever sold at, he and I split a booth, which is crazy to think about now. I take 2 to myself.
Right.
And here we are. It's probably been 15 fucking years. He manages the Hot Topic in the mall we went to.
Yeah.
He actually left to
It
sell.
ain't broke.
Well, he left and went to Sleep Number for like 3 years, which is literally next door to Hot Topic in the mall. But
that mall economy, like it stays.
He
People work in mall stays in the
came back to
mall.
Hot Topic. But like, I think I figured out like the reason the mall was so busy is because they were so fucking overstaffed. Like that, they had 6 people working in that Hot Topic.
Why?
In a Hot Topic.
I don't
It's like
think
the
I've ever
size of
seen,
this
like, one
fucking
guy or
room.
two.
That's what I'm saying. But it's Black Friday or whatever, they just had a ton of people. But
Yeah.
I kept on forgetting where I was because I think all malls have gotten so agnostic. I kept on thinking I was in the Columbia Mall.
Yeah, they all
Like, and every time I'm thinking, like I've thought back about anything that happened on that day when we were I'm like, because the Columbia Mall, you've got your name stores, but then they've got a lot of like, second, like the resale stores, and then just people selling like fucking those lenticular anime pictures
And
and
still
shit.
like independent places like that are like
in the huts.
yeah. Well, that too.
Yeah.
That's where you get your jewelry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, anyways, we
Get your nose pierced, get a
around
little
there.
bracelet half off.
Piercing pagoda.
That's it.
What a fucking racket.
That's it. So, get your ears pierced at Claire's.
Yes.
And selling fake weed. Like, it's not legal down there. So Delta 9.
Oh, really?
Goes on that Delta
Synthetic.
down there. Yeah, synthetic stuff.
Because that's better for you.
You're right.
And Kratom, which I'm still not sure what Kratom,
I thought that was
Kratom
illegal.
does.
Freedom was supposed to be
They're
like.
meant to hold babies. Mostly.
For fuck's sake, Bobby.
I
For fuck's sake.
I thought that was illegal now. I thought they were trying to ban it. It was like people use that for like
Well, they
to treat
banned
addiction.
They banned a lot of that here now. Like Delta is
People
not
using
legal here.
kratom to get off of like painkillers or
I'm
whatever.
not real sure how it gets used, but I'm trying to think of anything else interesting from Alabama. That's,
babies.
oh, I went. I did take.
So dumb.
I didn't take a ton of pictures while I was down there. But here's my brood and my parents.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, last minute photo there. Then the saddest picture I took is this picture here. And this is where Donna's Country Music Barn was, where FTW ran in the mid 2000s, and it's completely gone.
Oh,
it's
man.
like there's nothing. Like
Yeah,
you can't
that's a
even.
bummer.
You can't even. They did a great job cleaning the lot because you can't even tell there was a building there. There's no concrete footer, and they tore it all out. And we were driving right by there on the way back. Took the kids to Buc-ee's. There's a Buc-ee's in Athens.
Oh,
I've
shit,
never
I
been,
love
I've never, I've
Buc-ee's.
never been to
and
one.
they
You
never.
got some nuts.
They never been, dude. So dark chocolate covered espresso beans.
Yes.
Dark chocolate covered raisins, which I got in trouble because I left those in the rental car on accident.
Along with a broken glass.
Everywhere.
I just sprinkled it all over the broken glass. But that's honestly like Charlie was overwhelmed. Like he's
Buc-ee's
like,
is-
he's like, I don't know what I want. I can't figure it out. Let's just go.
Get it back at the Bucky snacks. I don't know.
The beaver nuggets.
Beaver nuggets.
All right,
I
man.
love beaver nuggets.
So
I've had enough.
Anytime Ricky
don't-
comes
you-
to visit me, he brings me a bottle of Jameson, which please stop doing that, Ricky. I have more Jameson than we need to have a Jameson party one night, guys. I know you don't, it's not your jam, but you need to get down just to help me get through some of this.
Well, yeah, I can still.
We'll have a Jameson party. And he brings beaver nuggets from
love beaver
Buc-ee's.
nuggets.
And they've actually gone crazy with that. They have all these different flavors and shit. But
No, give me the original.
Yeah.
It's like ice cream. Give me the vanilla. You said it's funny that vanilla is like somehow became the default, but that's not the default flavor. Saying things of vanilla that's already flavored, just an unflavored ice cream, which is why I like Cold Stone Creamer. It's other places have it too. It's sweet cream. It's just ice cream.
Oh yeah, just like
Unflavored ice
sweet cream
Yeah.
in your coffee.
yeah.
And it's just like sweet milk ice cream. It's my
Sweet
favorite.
milk.
So let's see. Our flight was at 9:30 on Sunday night out of Nashville.
Oh, good. Nighttime.
Keep in mind, this is the busiest week in the history of travel.
Right,
Even at
ever.
night?
Ever of travel. We're talking about like Mongolian hordes. There was not that many people walking around traveling.
She started getting nervous.
I'm sorry. grow your mustache out real long, Joe.
Where?
Again? You hear drums or something?
I know, real quick. I don't know if I told you. I got a buddy of mine that I work with that's like a big Drake fan. And Kendrick Lamar just dropped recently.
Actually, I have that in my notes.
So I'm happy to talk with you about it, but it was like a surprise drop. and I was working the day it dropped.
Oh.
and he was there, and I was like, Kendrick dropped, like because it hit my phone.
Did he start sweating?
But he said, drop what? Drop what? Like just a joke along with it.
Yeah. That's funny.
It was good.
But first of all, why are you friends with somebody that's that big of a Drake fan?
I know.
Is a younger person, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The guy that came as Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's up,
yeah.
Willy Wonka?
Yeah.
So we leave earlier than probably we should have, but I had no idea what we were getting into, right? And I kept looking. You can like put in your destination in Google Maps and it'll tell you, or it'll turn red or whatever. We ended up running into some traffic on the way up, but we got up there. We got to the airport super early. Like, I think my family was a little annoyed that we were there that early, but I'm like, what the fuck did you want to do? You wanted to leave when we left because I was getting the "come on, let's go" sign at like 3:00. I'm like, all right, let's go.
There's like a meme about it, like my dad making sure we arrive early enough for a flight, and it's like a family like in a horse and carriage.
Yeah. So
I'm the same way though. I'm the exact same way.
I better be early than me late.
if I'm by my
100%.
yeah, because there's two ways that
It's the
can go.
inconvenience of it. If you missed a flight, right?
I mean,
like it's a nightmare.
If it's just, as much as I ever travel, if it's just me and I've got just my carry-on bag, I'm comfortable getting there an hour before the flight takes off, right? Because I'm TSA pre-check. I'm going to breeze through.
Right.
I'm going to just, I have
It's
my
just
bag.
the avoidance of stress.
Yes.
And that's it.
Getting there
Yeah.
and being like, whatever happens, I'm in a good enough position where I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. So
That's why I prefer to be early to work.
Yeah,
I don't
same.
want to be. I hate being stressed in traffic. Like I might be late.
Yeah.
I'm an hour early every day.
That's wild. I'm like 15 to 20 minutes early.
Yeah.
So, everything went smooth. The flight wasn't, honestly, the airport wasn't busy. Like, I go through that airport a lot. I'm actually going to be going back through that airport this next week. But, like, it was a ghost town. There was nobody there. So, we just literally hung around and ate and then went and, got on the plane. And I didn't get the exit row, but we got, there wasn't full space between us. Go to BWI and executing my second phase of the plan. Get the bags, everyone else. I'm going to take the tram, which took fucking forever. I had to go to the bathroom, went to the bathroom, come out, and I see the right tram leaving. I'm like, fuck!
no.
So I had to wait the loop. But when I came out, they just got in the bags. I guess there was some... They said they kept moving the carousel. Like, we're moving these, or we're splitting these bags between these two. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare.
Got everybody home. I think my head hit the pillow about 2:00.
Oh, that's not bad. That's that's before my bedtime.
Well, I mean, I stay up late a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
I usually sleep around 3.
Travel days are. It's just a hard.
I'm
Travel
up late a lot. I don't stay up late a lot.
day. Yeah, I got you. So we. Oh yeah, I did take a picture for you, Bobby. Of the. We did have cookies and cream also, but that's the big jug of the ice cream.
God, it's good.
It is good stuff.
Why don't they have more of it?
Oh, and I
think it has to do with the cost of shipping. Like, because it anytime you're dealing with something frozen, like getting outside of a certain network becomes like a whole new challenge.
We have Breyers and Haagen-Dazs.
But exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
Quality control.
It's just like the size of the company. Like I had Timmy Grins out here recently. He told ins and outs, like the ice cream, frozen goods kind of, and it's a whole fucking thing. Like everything's about how many freezers you own and how many. Like it's a whole fucking.
And they're expensive. I know.
Yeah.
Freezers are fucking stupid.
And not just and then freezers you rent. Like anytime you go to a grocery store, they're renting that freezer space. So like. A lot of times, like Breyers, or like which is really I think owned by Dryers. These larger conglomerates,
yeah.
And like if they find out that Bluebell's coming into Maryland, they're going to try to rent extra freezer space, even if they can't fill it with anything to keep them out. Like it's a whole.
That's fucked up.
Yeah,
it's like
that's how it all works. I mean, like
he called it the ice cream mafia.
Even on the toy aisle, like the amount of hooks Hasbro has for Transformers is all.
You have to bribe the
debated.
guy who's stocking to put you in the end cap, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's so. I didn't. When I was working in auto parts, we have a planogram. I hate that word.
I don't want to hear
a planogram for end caps, and I had 2 of them switched one day. Like I had the one that was supposed to be in the first. It was probably just easier to set up, and like we had corporate people come through, and they're like, "Hey, notice your end caps are switched." I'm like, "Is this what you do for a living?" But he's like,
"It is."
I said, "Yeah." The customers don't see me. He's like, "Well, what you have to keep in mind is Castrol pays for that space to be the first end cap." So if they come in here and see that, we're in breach of contract, whatever.
Right.
I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So in 1994, let's remember back. Do we have that? Do we have that?
We don't.
Music.
I remember that year.
I graduated high school.
I did too.
And I had, you graduated in 94?
No. I remember that year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I just got into high school. I was dropped off in military boarding school.
Oh boy. So I graduated high school, and the car I had at the time was going to be expensive to keep running. And my dad said, look, I'm going to buy you a car as long as you stay in school. I'll pay for it. So my dad bought me a 1994 Grand Am GT Coupe. That's a 2.3 liter dual overhead cam fuel injected 4-cylinder quad 4 high output with a manual transmission. It is dark green metallic with graphite cloth trim. I want you guys.
You don't see dark green metallic cars anymore.
No, and it had the red stripe on it too. Yeah.
Had that Fans Toys Hound finish.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I want you guys to. I'm just curiosity. How much do you think this car sticker? I have the sticker for this car.
How much did it cost?
Fuck, dude, I have no number.
How much did it cost back then?
How much did you think a brand new?
Now or then?
Then.
$12,000.
I was $18,000.
That's 16.
Okay.
16. Yeah. I doubt. And I
look
doubt
at me coming out of the numbers closet.
I doubt my dad paid that much for it. To be honest.
That's only the haggle price. He gotta wait and talk to the manager and come back. Tell you about the wrap.
So the cool thing about it is that dealership. My mom's sister that I spoke about earlier, she worked at that dealership for 40 years, and we kind of had an in there. You know, we didn't get like employee pricing, but they really took care of. Took care of my my family over the years. Let me see what else I have here. So I was making a lot of bird puns, Joey, and my wife said, "You really need to stop." And I said, "Okay, 2 can play." Nowhere near as good. So we had, right before we left, we had a 3D printer clog. Mason was printing some Dan.
There's a teeth mask, I assume.
Yep. And the worst clog I've ever seen. So that build plate is supposed to be inside the machine. It pushed the build plate out 4 inches and created this
mess of plastic.
This alien thing. And I wish I had a picture.
That is cool.
There's a fucking dragon on this thing. Like, it made a dragon. Like, I've started to put paint on it just to bring it out.
Keep it as an art
just
piece.
like most people at craft fairs.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I had to replace the hot end. And I had a hot end, but it didn't have the wires and the heat sink. So actually we were in town. I forgot to say this. You guys are familiar with Micro Center, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. So they're still around?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So there's a company called Gigaparts. Mm-hmm. I remember going in Gigaparts when it was like, I need to get a T7-4 screw for my laptop. Like, it was that kind of place. But now it's like, it's in an old Home Depot now. They exclusively carry bamboo printers. And, and they carry bamboo filament and some other brand that's actually made in Huntsville. And I've never seen that much filament in a store in my life.
I didn't know you can just buy them in the storefront nowadays.
Yeah, so you can buy.
You can just walk into a place and see 3D printer stuff. That's crazy.
So Micro Center does.
Really?
They carry bamboo, and so they had the part I needed. I just bought it, $30, whatever.
That's awesome.
And
you like bamboo, do you?
What are you trying to say?
It's BAMBU.
You can make hats with it.
They also. You can.
Bow staffs?
You can literally make armor out of it. Y'all are ridiculous. Anyways, they also carry Frozen, the movie Let It Go, except it's with a PH.
Frozen.
They have a 15-inch build plate for a resin printer now.
For a resin printer?
15 inches.
Wow.
I mean, they were like the demos was showing you can print an entire army in an hour and a half, like this whole plate full of miniatures.
Jeez.
It's just wild.
I mean, I've seen those, like, a Saturn or something. It's basically like a double D-top. It's like a closet you can open. You can build like a whole bus, and you can print a whole bus in there.
Yeah. It's these. I'm running a project on there right now. A vehicle thing I found. Surprise, surprise. So we'll talk about music a little bit. Sure. So I use Spotify, and I don't know if you've heard this or not, but Spotify Wrapped just came out. Mm-hmm. Does Apple Music do something similar? Yeah. Do you have yours?
I have.
Thought we might compare. I know it's obviously quite different.
The only one that I have that I screenshot just because I was low on time was I have Jaina's most listened to artists, and my most listened to.
So you don't have songs; you just have artists.
No.
Okay. Well, I'll give you one guess who my number one artist of the year was.
Jelly Bean. I mean Jelly Roll.
It was.
Jelly bean. Jelly bean.
It's fine. It's fine.
It was accidental. My heart was in the right place.
That's fine. What was your number one?
Do you want to take a guess?
Well, so is it a modern artist or a classic, more something
Classic.
Not classic, but somebody's been around for a while.
Modern.
Is it what's his name that Pop Smoke?
No,
That's not
fair
that's not
guess,
modern
though.
anymore. I feel like he's been dead for a few years.
but I don't know what you listen to. I listen
That's
to the
modern.
same
That's
shit.
modern.
Is it?
Yeah,
If a guy's been
All
dead
right.
for 3
It's
years?
not current. It's modern.
Who is it?
Okay.
Oh, is it? No, go ahead. I don't have it.
Travis Scott.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, Travis Scott was my number one.
My number two is Yellow Wolf.
Okay,
I'm on brand. At
But
least.
yeah, you are definitely on brand. So my number two was this kind of like rock group called Mothica. They came out with an album this year. It's delightful. It's called Kissing Death, and it's I like almost every song on it. It's probably right up your alley. But I know that you get iffy on music and when you can and can't listen to it and how it will affect your space. And it's dark. It's dark.
I like dark music. It's just I worry about what it does to my brain.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Mothica. They have a great album this year, Kissing Death. Highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah, okay. There's a rock album that I just bought also. That's like really good. It's from I did, but from
I just pay him to listen to it.
from a guy I'd never heard of though. But I bought every song on the album. With this guy named Jutes.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I hadn't either, but apparently he's been around for a while. I saw a music video, wish I hadn't, but the music is good.
Okay.
So that's a good topic. How does a video ever ruin a song?
Oh my god.
Okay, well let's keep that. Put that in your pocket because I need to do a little research.
Mm-hmm.
So my number three is you've never heard of these people. Lake Castlevania. They do all the techno music like for John Wick and some cyberpunky stuff, and I just ended up being in that kind of vibe this year. And yeah, and what's your number three?
My number three is Nine Inch Nails.
Okay.
Which is just I listen to them a lot.
Yeah.
So no surprises there.
So number four for me, me and you, your mama and your cousin too.
Hey, I love him. I just put the same guy that likes Drake. I just put him on because he's never listened to him. He's too young.
Oh.
And I was like, listen to AT Aliens, and he came back and he's like, that whole shit is fucking.
So Mason felt the same way.
Yeah.
Like I think he's listened to everything up to Speaker Box Love Below because I told him that gets. The vibe changes there. It's not a bad change, but it's not like street rap music anymore. It's more like philosophical bullshit.
Yeah.
And my last one is number five was Morgan. Sorry. You got number four.
Yeah, my number four, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to give a caveat to it.
Of course.
It's a guy named Yeet. He's a newer artist.
Okay.
He has an album called 2093 that I don't think is great, but I do like. I love two songs
And
on
you
it.
listen to him a lot.
So this one song, Psycho CEO, I love it to death. However, I don't think it's true. And I'll get back.
What's true?
I don't think it's giving me accurate data.
Oh, that's
it's
weird.
skewing it.
And I'll get back to it.
So my number five is Morgan Wallen.
Okay.
Who's a country artist.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Sounds like a country artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
My number
and it's
five-
based on really one or probably three songs of his I like.
My number five is Kendrick Lamar, and probably has a lot to do with this new project that I am fond of, and the diss records that I love.
Yeah, oh sure.
So
I get top. Oh, you go through Jana's, and then I actually get top songs on Spotify. So I give it.
we get them too. I just didn't.
That's all on one screenshot for me. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
My number four is Yeet, but I would bet money that my number four was Kanye.
Yeah, that would be more on brand.
And they moved him off the list because he's an independent artist.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's shady.
Yep, that's my guess. Can't back it up.
Right.
But
your feeling.
I can tell you that if you were to
You
ask,
listen to music a lot. You kind of know what you listen to.
I listened to that Vultures album a lot this year. And for it not to be in my top five and Yeet to be in my top five, so I like two songs on that Yeet, and one I love and one I like. And that Kanye record, I love like 8 songs.
And you listen to the whole thing. Yeah.
So I just suspect foul play, but that's my nature when it comes to music. So Jana's was, let me see. So her number one was Kanye West. Her number two was Ty Dolla $ign. Her number three was Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign together. Her number four was Kendrick Lamar. Her number five was Travis Scott. Her number 6 was Jay-Z. Her number 7 was...
we go past 5.
Hers does. I didn't. I just capped it.
Okay.
Her number 7 was Amari. Amaarae. I think she's some sort of alternative R&B
sure
something. Her number 8 was Ice Spice. Her number 9 was Don Toliver. 10 was Future. 11 was Melanie Martinez. 12 was Metro Boomin. 13 was 9 Inch Nails. 14 was Lady Gaga, and 15 was Pierre Bourne. And I was proud of her. It was a diverse group. Obviously, she has her favorites,
and from different times.
Yeah. I was proud of her list, even though I don't listen to all that shit like that.
But you introduced like a music lifestyle to her.
I was proud. I was proud to see it. So go ahead. Now you continue.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I get artists, I get songs. So "Think About Me" by Morgan Wallen, just something I just love that song. The second one you'll probably get a kick out of. It's "Nothing's Gonna Stand in Our Way" off the Transformers soundtrack.
Wow.
Funny story about that.
What?
Let me see if I can find.
That's your number 2?
I don't know if I find it funny.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull something up to show you a funny story about that song and my wrestling career. If I can get this to open. Boy, these fucking pages now on. Let me see if we have it here. So "Nothing's Gonna Stand in Our Way." I've been a Transformers fan for a trillion years. Are there albums on this thing?
Want me to stop it?
No, you're good. I'm here. I'm right here. So I don't have it. Anyway, so the first like big show we ever had when I was running my wrestling show was our first year anniversary. And I named the show "Nothing's Gonna Stand in Our Way." And I played that song at the beginning. I had met this guy that wrestled that also did video editing. And he actually wrestled for us that night from Indiana, Brandon Prophet. And he did the cover art and everything, and he edited it to "Nothing is going to stand in our way." I'm like, motherfucker. And he didn't run anything by me. He just produced it like the time. Like
he was like, "Look, this country motherfucker spelling this shit all wrong."
The same guy. I had a show several weeks, probably months later, and I said, "Hey, I got tapes. Can I send them to you and edit them? Send them to him. We'll do a commentary." Sure, send them to him. Month goes by. "Hey man, what's up with the tapes?" "Oh, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna do it." Long story short, 6 months later, man, they were in the trunk of my mom's car and I can't find them. So I lost the footage of that show, which is funny because there's some kind of big names that are on TV every week that were on there. But so I changed like the name I had made the cover art. I'm doing the cover art, and I put "Mom's Trunk Edition" on and I was like, "This will never come out. Sorry guys."
Damn.
But like that dude, anytime I interact with him, he got super into like barbecue or something later, and every time he'd post and be like, "Do you have the sauce available in your mom's trunk?"
Forever better.
Forever. Yeah. So something wild on Spotify. Me and Mason were going through our thing together, and I let me see if he sent it to me. Hang on a sec. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I was getting lunch today and I forgot.
Yeah, Jana.
So here's Mason's. His top 5 artists: Bring Me the Horizon.
Okay.
Yugo Kanno, who does some JoJo stuff. The Living Tombstone, who is a band that started out making Five Nights at Freddy's like songs.
Oh yes,
and this is who they went and saw in DC, and they have their own music now. Eminem, and then Toby Fox, who does like a lot of video game music stuff for Megalomania, that song from the Bobby game, the little skull guy. What's the name of that game?
Oh, Undertale.
So that's who Toby Fox is. So
that motherfucker.
Yeah,
that motherfucker. I can't prove it, but
you think Santa's based on it?
It's a lot of similarities, man.
So I listened to his new music, Bobby.
Okay.
I listened to the new Kendrick album.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I'd say my favorite track on there is "Whacked Out Murals."
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
I just
a really
love the
strong
simplicity of the beat, and his lyrics.
I think it's a really strong opening. Yeah.
Just like you're just waiting on something to happen. It's so good.
I think my favorite song on there is a song called "Hey Ya."
but not Outkast.
My baby don't mess around me because she.
It was like.
Is that the one that starts out with the reincarnated bit?
No.
Because there's two. So it seems like there's because
it has that like it's just like the breath.
Okay.
It's like a. And then the fucking drum drops over it, and it's very subtle, but it's probably my favorite. And then Squabble Up is great.
Yeah.
Fucking TV Off is like might as well taking that right out of my fucking daily life.
There's a couple. I mean, were you familiar with any of the guests that he had on there?
No, they're all like new up and coming West Coast
I knew
people.
that's what that would be. I just thought it was.
But I think
they're pretty good. I mean, I didn't dislike anybody.
Well, I think it's on brand right now. Like he's really under this like I'm gonna empower the West and bring the West back and all that. And I think it was the right choice. I think so. I don't think objectively it's his best project because he's done like a lot of cerebral and conceptual stuff, but it's my favorite project just because it has a lot of slaps on it.
Yeah.
Like it's probably the album that he's created with the most just slaps. Like you can just put on and ride out to.
Yeah, I've listened to it a couple times.
Yeah.
The other album I listened to is the new Manson album.
Yeah, it's good.
My favorite song is Raise the Red Flag.
Yeah. That's really
your
good.
white flag.
Yeah.
No, my red flag is your white one soaked in blood is the chorus for this song. It's a badass song.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, and I'll be honest with you, I'm sure I've listened to a Manson album all the way through before, but like he seems to have more range in his vocals on this than
you think more.
I thought more.
Oh, see, I think less.
Okay.
I felt like I saw the impact of alcohol,
years
and
of
age
abuse.
and screaming.
Yeah.
You know, but I quite enjoyed it. I liked. I think my favorite song was one of the singles too. But As Sick as the Secrets Within is my favorite song on there. But I thought it was solid. I thought it was a solid offering. It's just maybe not as meaningful as his big three.
But I mean, it's still like what he's been around for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think
put out an album that is any good.
97, 96,
Yeah,
97.
so
you know, and he had two projects before that.
yeah, and able to put out a solid showing.
Yeah.
At his age and this time, I think it says a lot.
For one thing, I will give this over a lot of his more previous later projects is this seems focused. Whereas before it kind of seemed like, oh yeah, we still need to make records and
here's 12 songs.
Exactly.
Didn't he change a lot in recent years?
Yeah,
and
I think
he seems more focused.
Yeah,
it seems like he lost his shit for a minute and then he got his shit together.
Yep, I agree.
Them coffers got low. That's why. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Is that why though? I feel
They're like, hey, you got to make some fucking music if you still want this coke habit, buddy.
Yeah, well,
But I
he's
think it's the
whatever
opposite,
it
right?
is.
I feel like when people start making shit because the coffers are low is when you get the trash. It's when like fucking Oscar winners start doing fucking straight to DVD videos.
I think
a paycheck.
I think pressure builds diamonds, and I think sometimes having some pressure makes people do better projects. But yeah, there's plenty of like, here's 12 songs.
Yeah,
so
I need a paycheck. You know,
change. I watched some shows. The Franchise on Max.
Yep, you finished it.
It's not over yet.
Oh, sorry.
But it's over because I had to look for it. It's not on the top 10 shows.
Oh, okay.
I can imagine this is it.
Yep.
The good thing about a streamer is they're at least going to finish it and not do like, NBC says the franchise has been canceled after 3 episodes.
Right.
But
right.
I even think in that case, that's a good question. Let's say there's a show on ABC that nobody's watching and they filmed 24 seasons, 24 episodes, 22-minute episodes. And they play 3 and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do this. Do they just dump it on Disney Plus or Hulu and like, hey, you can watch the entire season of...
I mean, I would still think they had to...
But fuck rodeo or whatever.
I would still think they had to roll it all out and hope that something catches on with it.
Well, they don't. But think about it. There's been tons of shows over the years that 3 episodes, they just cancel.
They would have to have something in the can to like fill a slot though, right?
They've always got those other shows or they'll fucking play 2020 or...
Simpsons.
The Simpsons or
Reruns?
Bob's Burgers. We started watching the show, and I think we got 2 more episodes left. And it's not that we don't enjoy it; it's just we started watching before we left.
Right.
It's called Interior Chinatown. It's on Netflix.
Why are you looking at me, Bobby? Why are you
didn't know-
sighing me?
I didn't know if you'd seen it.
So it's set in a fictional New York City,
Okay.
and it's a very.
Is it modern?
It is.
There's an interior Chinatown in New York City.
Well, it's
You don't have to go.
so the reason it's listed like that is because it's like on a script. Interior Chinatown. it's these guys that work at a Chinese restaurant, and the first scene is like, you ever wonder if
From
maybe
Chinatown, it's just restaurant.
Yeah. What they say, he says something like, you ever wonder like what happens to those people in the beginning of those crime procedurals that like, oh, I'm the guy taking out the garbage, and well, we're going to find a body and then they'll interview us. It is set in a Law and Order style world, like to a point where like when the lead actors walk in, the lights come on and they go off. But he's just like this, B, C, D character. But by the time like we're later in the episodes, he's a detective, and it's kind of shifted from like a SVU kind of. I think it's called Black and White Impossible Crimes Division. That's the name of the show. And there's some sassy woman that just makes quips, and our partner is the black guy that. He's kind of figured out what's going on, and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is stupid. Like the day to day, and like, you guys ever seen True Detective?
Yeah.
So it kind of turns into True Detective, like something like that, just two dudes driving in a car out to the desert kind of stuff. It conceptually is fucking incredible.
So is it like a fourth wall thing? So like, do they know they're in a wait?
They don't know they're in the show.
They don't know that they're in a show, but they're living.
We know they're in the show.
They're living in a show universe. Where in this universe it works like a TV show.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a cool concept.
It is. It's out there,
but it's real life for them.
It's real life for them, and it's worth watching. I mean, I've enjoyed it so far. I mean, I'll wrap it up shortly.
No worries.
And then I watched Skeleton Crew.
I did. I watched the first episode.
Did you, Bobby? Really?
I did.
Well, you can watch the second one. I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised you watched the first one.
Well, I watched the first one this morning for the show,
for his.
So I watched. I think they both dropped. Yeah,
they may have. I don't know.
Yeah, so they dropped 2 episodes. I don't dislike it.
I don't dislike it.
It's definitely a Goonies movie. I mean, it's literally like.
I mean, I saw the
this
poster.
Is the setup.
I saw the.
So
they find a ship, and it automatically starts, and it's a pirate ship, and
it leaves,
and it leaves the planet.
That's the episode. I don't like it either.
That's fair.
I don't dislike it.
Okay,
but I don't like it. It was just like
I'm entertained by it.
It exists.
It was a thing to watch.
I love looking at the sets and the characters and the.
I was like, why can they not make a charming character? Like that's like I was thinking about that today, right? Like Obi-Wan, character wise works,
which
right?
All of it.
Both Obi-Wan's there,
both versions,
and Vader's there.
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett character wise works because Boba Fett's there.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Mandalorian for 2 episodes.
Mandalorian works mainly, to be fair, because of the relationship between him and Baby Yoda. But like a lot of the shit, like the Acolyte, it doesn't have like a charming.
No, it didn't.
Character.
There was no like.
And I don't find and I don't think Obi-Wan introduced any new characters that are charming and endearing. I don't remember them.
Leia as a child. It would be the best.
Capital N new.
Well, okay.
And I don't think that Book of Boba did either. And I think that
the Bike Kids. the mod squad.
You know who the Bike Kids remind me of? The neutrinos from fucking Turtles.
Yep.
That's a pull.
Anyway,
that's good.
I think that like I'm watching the show and it's not bad. Like there's like the story of it is not bad. There's these young kids, they kind of enter in a very mundane life where things seem to be sort of predetermined for them. One wants for something more, adventure, excitement.
And the planet they're on is weird. It's like neighborhoods and shit.
Yeah.
And like light poles and come home when the lights go off. There's no sense of danger in these people's lives.
The main character is obviously struggling with the mundane and struggling to fit into a preconceived notion of what he should be in society.
And it's the old trope where his mom is gone and we don't know why, but his dad literally works like 18-hour days and comes and makes sure he's there.
What time period does this take place?
Mandalorian time.
Okay. Yeah, this is
post-war.
It's
yes.
post-war.
That makes sense then.
And then him and there was something that I found weird about that though, because he was like, I want to get a job where I can help protect or serve,
because he's got those Jedi books,
right?
Those story books.
Which I'm good with.
Which
my issue was, they were like, there's no such job.
Right
like, well, obviously there's that job, right? Because you can join the Republic, fleet or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but I'm not sure they even know. So there's a lot of scuttlebutt about what the fuck's going on this planet.
Okay.
Like,
well, so
okay.
I don't
and you know what? the second episode will tell you.
Okay.
a little bit more.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil
Fair
it
enough,
for
fair
you.
enough.
I don't know if you can watch it.
No, I plan on watching
Okay.
it. But so anyway, and then they like Chris said, they stumble upon the ship. It's the main character, Elephant Boy, and then two chicks. And they stumble upon this ship.
Is this how they pitched this?
Yeah. And the ship comes to life, takes off, and goes into hyperdrive, and the adventure begins. Right.
That's the end of the first episode.
Flight of the Navigator.
So yeah, not unlike. So anyway,
Yeah, it's a lot of like.
the story itself's fine. It's fine. But
It doesn't grab you.
well, none of the characters are worth a fuck. Like they're all like
Well, here's the thing.
They're random kids, right?
They
yes.
are, and they talk like, their dialogue is very childlike dialogue, which works because I think
they're
like,
children.
you think about something like the Goonies and that stuff. Think about the kids that they talk like kids.
So Goonies is a perfect example. Almost every character in the Goonies is like super endearing, and almost within the first half hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get introduced to them and you know what they're about.
Yeah,
and you like
you're
them.
like, and the chemistry between them is interesting
Yeah.
and dynamic, and you're like, "Fuck, this works." This is just like,
I think this would have been better as I think this would have been better as a movie.
yeah, you're probably not wrong
Well,
about that.
but Bobby thinks about everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, thinking about a lot of these series, like, gosh, if they could have just crammed this in 2 hours instead of 8.
yeah, I
I
agree.
think they would a lot more dynamic story.
But anyway, I just don't think like I don't know if so. I think like the sequel trilogy introduced some endearing, interesting characters, whether you like it or not.
Like
right?
I'll
that
have to
little
check it
guy,
out.
like the little guy that makes C-3PO bad.
Babu Frick.
Babu, 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 babu.
That's taking up space in your brain.
Wish
Bobby.
it wasn't. Wish it wasn't. Wish it wasn't.
It could have been something else.
I wish it could have been. But I have no control over these things. It happened.
Brain choose to store what it stores.
We were talking about it actually today. I was hanging out with some guys earlier this morning, and like something really random came out, and I like quoted. It was a song, and I like quoted it verbatim from a commercial. And they were like, "How do you remember that shit?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I was like, "But I wish I didn't, and I wish I could pick and choose what I wanted to remember."
You might be better with numbers if you saw that space.
Maybe. Anyway, it's just like Rogue One. Almost all of those characters are interesting and like and endearing and mean something within the first half hour of meeting them. And like even the throwaway ones, and when I say throwaway, it's lowercase t, but the ones that they just get the fuck out of the way, Saw Gerrera and
there's one scene, but like memorable.
even fucking Two Tubes, like they.
You love Two Tubes.
I do, but they capture something cool and mysterious that fits in the Star Wars world of like, man, I want to know the same thing as Boba Fett, right? I want to know this fucking guy's story, right? But like recent Star Wars to me has just been like, you put them in this type of jacket and this type of pants and then make them say this type of language and then, get on with it. And it's like,
Soulless.
it's soulless.
Played in devil's advocate for a minute. So there's a group of people at a bar. Or not a bar. Let's
Black
just say-
guy,
let's
white
say-
guy, Chinese
Well,
guy.
I wasn't.
They walk into a bar, Christopher.
That's definitely not where I was going, but I see your point. I mean, if there's a group of children and there's a group of adults, which conversation is going to be more interesting for you?
It depends.
Well, it depends if you want to turn a duck inside out.
Let's just say you don't know any of these.
If I don't know any theoretically, oh fuck, man.
You're going to walk up to the adults or the kids to talk?
For me to engage in conversation,
Like, hey, what's up, guys?
adults, because that would be really weird. You're like, okay, what's up with you, little fuckers?
Well, wait till you see episode 2 then.
Okay. But
I don't want to say anything else about it because there's so much information in the second episode. I don't
Yeah.
want to spoil anything.
I just
for you. But Jude Law, I'll just say that if you didn't figure that out.
Yeah, I figured that out. He's the pirate in the beginning that gets dethroned.
That's what we're led to believe.
Oh, okay.
We don't know 100% sure even after episode 2.
but I just I don't know. I like none of these characters
Not the Wolfman?
have anything special about them. So I bought that toy because he looks close enough to the Wolfman in the cantina where I
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying.
Nice.
But I think that's part of the issue, right? Like Han Solo, Qui-Gon, like Chewbacca, fucking Padme, like there's just
Can you name any characters from the Acolyte? Can you name them right now?
no,
Okay.
not a one.
Not even if your occupational health is at risk?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, and you know what? I was gonna say Shea was where my head went. I was like, I think her name's Shea, but it's Osha. But I think
Do you remember the low guy's name?
Yeah, Babu Frick.
He remembers the theme song to The Flight of Dragons.
yes, that too. But I just think that like I don't know, they're missing something about the fabric of Star Wars, that like the DNA that they just can't get quite right. And I don't.
Or maybe just missing good writing in general. It doesn't have to be Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's like this. Like I think that on like conceptually, a lot of these stories aren't inherently bad. They just don't have the legwork to make them mean anything.
But I mean, it's not just about like the setting.
No, agreed.
Like,
I was adding mine as a caveat, not as an argument.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's enough at least.
Joey.
Yo, real quick, not for you guys, but someone asked me about, last time I was on here, asked me about Monster Hunter. So Monster Hunter just released another update. It hasn't come out yet. The game is coming out in 2 months, but like the developers are really listening. One of the things the guy was asking about that's taking away the hit stop. It's a mechanic in game or a visual thing in game, and a lot of people complain about it, and they added it. And along with other things, like they use these betas and actually listening to all the fans and making adjustments as they go, which is, I love to see it from a company standpoint and from a fan standpoint in relationship with a company, that a company making a product for its people should listen to the people.
Mm-hmm. The people.
The people.
Watch Alien Romulus.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it.
Good.
I thought that was great.
Yeah, I like. Did people not like it?
No, I think
it was pretty well received across the board, and it made a ton of money.
The general reception that I got was it was good. It was good, pretty good.
What'd you think of the ending? Have you seen it, Bobby?
Mm-mm.
No, I like the entire thing a lot, and it does adds to the lore, and it is in universe because like the Nostromo was in
it's definitely in universe.
Yeah. As the first time they answer what happens when you fucking blow an alien out of an airlock, because that's a thing to do.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, we recovered it. Actually, it's right here from the first movie.
Oh, there you go.
And I mean, it died afterwards. I think they were experimenting or whatever, but like you get to find out. Hey, they
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Funny. I watched it on Disney Plus. Right?
Yeah, Fox.
Yeah,
and it has commercials.
Fox property.
It has some commercials, on Disney Plus, and the commercial was a rock zone, which is a boner pill. I'm like, are they having boner pill?
Interesting.
Fucking boner pill
I guess
commercials on Disney Plus is wild to me.
So I guess it's all target audience, right?
That if you're watching Alien Romulus, you might have a boner problem.
No,
I feel offended.
They know enough about you to know that you are of the age where that might be attractive to you.
It's 43 an age where you need boner pills.
I mean,
well, so I would argue that we are at the beginning of that demographic. Like,
it's more likely than in 20s for sure.
Right, but I would say that like
I thought it was like people
like because when Alien came out,
79.
We weren't even born.
Yeah.
Right. So we were not.
He was.
Interesting.
Well, lowercase w. So like we're not at the forefront of that age demographic of the target audience. Do you know what I'm saying?
But we're part of that.
We're
audience
part of
now.
the overall group. Yeah.
They're just planting the seeds.
Mm-hmm.
See,
and then you needed to plant seeds. It's ironic.
That's right. That maybe. But I guess that's how Al Pacino and De Niro keep having fucking kids.
Did you watch it too, Bobby? Oh, are you not going to watch it though?
I'm not going to say I'm not going to watch it.
I mean, like you like that franchise. But it's good.
It's much. It's much closer to Aliens than anything else they've done since then. It's got that horror like.
So I'll be honest with you, I'm not remotely close. I don't plan on not watching it. I do plan on watching it, but I also planned on watching the sequel to Covenant, and here I am. Haven't seen it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I would like to in a perfect world see it, but I'm also like it feels very alien to me, like meaning in the sense of the first film, not that it's foreign.
It's
but I'm not interested in that.
You've got one.
No, it's not just that though.
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is. But
I can understand why people would say that.
That's why I'm not running to it.
So there's a good story there, even if you take the alien.
Yeah,
out.
a lot of the characters are interesting. They add to the world, the universe building. Actually,
and I'll be honest with you, I just don't think I like watching television anymore. Like
watching stuff in general.
Yeah. Like if I have to, I will. If I watch something 9 times out of 10, it's documentary-ish. You know, like I just.
This is a documentary about a salvage crew that goes to a.
It's not going to be long till
Pokemon.
It's not going to be long till Selena comes home with her boyfriend at 12 years old, and you start talking politics to him. You get to be that age.
So the documentaries that I watch are like
women.
Sometimes I did watch that, but like I watched one last night, for instance, and it was on BMF, Black Mafia family. They were like the drug trade organization that eventually was responsible for Jeezy. But they were like basically an organized crime. I was kind of familiar with them peripherally, but like I didn't know the story, and I watched like a documentary on it. Then that's the kind of stuff that I'll sit down and watch. Like most of the time, like I'm just like, man, like I don't want to. I'm just at a point where I'm like, man, I think so much has burned me, and I'm like, man, I don't want to sit down and not engage with people for fucking 2 hours to watch something and then be moderately entertained.
Mm. Well, I mean, you have a lot. Unlike a lot of people, you have a lot of things you want to do.
Yeah.
A lot of these passive hobbies are for people.
I'd rather just talk to my kids and fuck around and crack jokes and, if it's bullshit, meaningless conversation.
But it's quality time still, though. That's different. It's time with your family.
Yes, but I guess that's what I'm saying is I'm at a point now where I'd rather have not so much on the scale of quality. I'd rather have a 1 on the quality scale with my kids than a 5 on the quality scale of a film.
I think that's actually the right priority.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't have kids. I would never know the joy.
And they might even be having less quality of a time because I'm dictating the conversation and I'm going to,
I mean, my kids, I have to beg them to sit down to talk even just because they're always into something. So it's...
I mean, at a certain age too, right?
Yeah. Hey, real quick, speaking of gangs and things of that nature, I had to explain to my family why Whacked Out Murals is spelled that way.
No K? Yeah,
no K. And they're like, what? And I had to explain the whole Crips thing to them.
There's a bit in there. Actually, no, you know what? I don't even want to get into it. But he made a statement about an individual that he didn't name the individual, but people had a guess as to who it was, and that individual has responded. And it's going to be interesting to watch how that shakes out too.
Speaking of that song has a great big chunk of censorship in it. And has that been?
So I have a guess. I think it's about Ice Cube.
Really?
That's my guess.
Why would you think it's about Ice Cube?
Because Ice Cube has made some statements about.
Because it looks like he's trying to bring back the West as well.
So that's, I think, what it is. Ice Cube has made some statements kind of not acknowledging newer artists from the West, or that maybe there might be a new king of the West. And I have a feeling because he takes I'm using a stray here as the lower cases of S's, but there's a stray shot at Lil Wayne in this shit. There's a stray shot at there's a lot of like stray shots fired at a lot of
just spraying.
Yeah, at a lot of people that are like I'm not saying anything about you, but I heard what you said, and whoever wants it right now can get it. And he threw a shot at a comedian, and that comedian responded.
Who was the comedian?
Schultz. And what'll be interesting about that, we've never seen such a thing, right? Take the characters out of it, make it whoever you want it to make, but a rapper and a comedian battling, and two people that are good at what they do. And I think if it continues, I'm not sure that it will, but if it continues, the battle of the wits for me will be fun to watch because they're both smart. But anyway, that was
I thoroughly enjoyed it. But if you, I don't know if the way you're talking about the Star Wars show. Well, I don't know how it's going to pan out with how many other episodes.
Yeah.
You probably have a better time spent watching an hour and a half of Aliens than it is 2 episodes of whatever the fuck this is.
Could be. I don't deny that. I told you I started. Well, you may not have been here. I started watching that BlackBerry movie. I fell asleep on it because I was exhausted, not because it was. But like that, I was like, oh, hey, this looks like something I'm going to really enjoy.
Yeah.
But that's the last time I felt that way has been some time. And it's almost it's a documentary adjacent. You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, yeah, it's like dramatized documentary.
Right.
Kind of. The chimp crazy thing. So I didn't watch the whole. I watched basically a cliff notes of it, and it's fucking dude.
It's fucked.
That house. How did
which one?
the main house with the
main
monkeys in
house,
the basement, and then the fucking like not hamster
Tubes. Yeah,
but like
yeah. Yep.
chimp cage tubes around the house, and it's just legal and fine. I guess
Depends on the state.
I guess. Well, the thing is, a lot of people don't treat or feel animals are anywhere near humans in terms
Right.
of how they should be treated. Where I'm like, I understand there's a difference,
Right.
but I think the gap is too great. They are
I agree.
things,
I agree with
especially with chimps.
I agree.
What got me was
Now, fish is different,
they got no eyelids.
and they have no feelings.
Yes. Something in the way, bro.
Not their feelings, I'll tell you what.
How does Batman feel about fish?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about other societies, but in America, we really place an emphasis on saving people's lives, regardless of the cause. Like someone's dying on the side of the road, whatever. You call an ambulance for them, and they do whatever it takes to save this person. And I'm not sure that's always the right call. So I think it's a disservice and cruel to save some people. To me, in my opinion. So the one of the lady they talk about people's awful incidents with chimps.
Yeah.
And this
They do.
one lady who had her face ripped off,
Yeah.
no eyeballs, one thumb left.
I saw her on Oprah.
She looks like a Muppet.
They like, I don't know, man. From sitting in my chair, I'm like, you fucked this person over.
Yeah. By
Like,
not
if-
letting them die.
Like, if that was me, I'd be fucking pissed. And that's nothing I can do about it. I can't go for revenge. I have one thumb and no eyes. I'm going to kill these fucking EMS people. Not that it's EMS people's fault, but that is their job. But
Right.
like, I feel like there's a call somewhere in there and be like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this person wants to live, man.
And what's fucked up is like, like those EMS people, I would imagine probably like in their quietest moments think to themselves like, fuck, she made it and this fucking baby didn't. Or,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right. Someone who could have, should have,
Yeah.
would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was. Is it, that's Metallica, right? One? The guy who they talk about, we got.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's, why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you?
There was a guy I knew that like kind of knew that song peripherally. I feel like I said that word too much, but it kind of knew of it, like was aware of it, but like wasn't like a fan or anything.
Yeah.
But anytime like somebody like he was like an older guy too, so he was like more into like hair bands and like and like
Twisted Sister.
yeah, and like anytime that song would come up or Metallica in general, he would just be like, taking my legs, taking my balls, taking my face, taking my eyes, taking my nose, taking my.
I like how that turned into Cotton Eye Joe.
What makes a mashup, bro? Cotton Eye Joe Metallica mashup.
Did you know Cotton Eye Joe is a reference to STDs?
I did not.
If it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd been married a long time ago.
Oh, is it
That's what Cotton Eye Joe
syphilis?
means. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, I finished watching Bake Off. Not much to say about it. It's as good as
Finished
always.
watching what?
Bake Off. British Bake Off.
Okay.
I just wish it was around more often.
Did somebody British win?
Yes.
Okay.
They had an American season, one season. Oh, America did a version of it without.
Pish posh.
It was pish posh. It was very mid. But yeah, so I just wish it was around like more than 10 episodes a year, which I get through in 2 days a year. What is your not legally?
Yes.
Your personal moral compass.
Yes.
What is justified? Are you okay with someone doing in retaliation for being cheated on? Is keying cars okay? Is it killing a guy okay? Obviously that's not, but that's a justification for things. Is throwing someone's belongings out the window okay? Where is that? Or is not doing anything okay because like nothing in response is justified? They cheated on you and you move on.
So I think it's
Well, personal.
Well,
This is personal.
if this person is living in my domicile, yeah, I'm putting all their shit outside with no quarter given. I'm just gonna put it on the porch.
But are you throwing out the window?
When the wind blows, I see my polos and Timbos.
Well, there's a lot of country songs about it, right?
Yeah.
I think that
Key in Cars is very.
I cut. Wrote my name on the side of the car. I mean, that's. I'd be very upset if somebody did that to me. But my moral
So
compass,
you were cheated on,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, I mean,
What, like-
that's happened to me before. I don't know.
Same. But like I'm just wondering, like, because some people have different levels of justification. Some people think completely destroying someone's property is okay, and I don't know.
I mean,
So
it depends on the situation, but I could definitely see myself doing a lot of internet damage than I would physically doing anything.
It's easy to do physical damage, right? For any average person, like it's easier for you to just break people's shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, like it all comes down to betrayal, right?
Right.
So I had to factor that in first.
Yeah, because like, how long have you been with this person? You have kids with this person? and you're
so,
married?
So if a person that lives down the street fucks my wife, my wife is my issue.
Right, correct.
Right. If you fuck my wife, you and my wife are now my issue.
Yes, because I'm not
Because
related to you.
both of you have betrayed me.
Right.
You know, the guy down the street has not betrayed
Yeah,
me.
people often like
Go after the other person.
Yep.
Which
get,
is silly
like,
to me.
don't touch my man. I'm like, your man shouldn't touch that lady.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it. That's it.
You know, like beg Jolene. You know
Exactly.
What I mean?
I was about to say that.
But like, I think that like that's the one thing that starts. I think for me, like, and this is just, it's hard for me to take myself out of it in terms of like my personal relationship and think about relationships as a whole, right? Like, I think where my head goes is like, if my wife cheated on me, I fucked up. That doesn't mean that I won't be furious with her. It doesn't mean that I won't want to kill her. But I know that woman loves the fuck out of me. So I did something, I more so didn't do something where she looked for it somewhere else. And I would take some personal accountability for that.
That's like really, yeah.
But I don't think every relationship is like that. But I think that mine is. So
to be fair, a lot of people think their relationship is like that until it isn't, right? They think their relationship is fine until they get cheated on.
I don't know. I think a lot of people look through their spouse's phones. A lot of people, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people are naturally suspicious. Like,
that's wild to me. I would never.
I hear you.
Right, but
because to me, it's like if I don't trust a person, I shouldn't be with them. Right. In the first place, if I think I have to look through your phone to see if you're cheating, I probably just shouldn't be with you because I assume you're cheating.
I don't disagree, but what should be and what is sometimes aren't the same thing.
I mean, you see a lot of joint accounts on Facebook.
As you guys know, I am a big fan of the show Catfish, and there's an interesting one the other day. This woman's husband catfished her because she wouldn't talk to him about whatever, and she had revealed all these things about herself that to him as whoever else. Because she had all these walls up because of emotional damage and things of that nature. But he's like, I never knew about all that stuff about your mom. Right. But you told, why wouldn't you tell me? And
But I can tell you this too. I would try to work through it.
Would you really?
I would. Because one, I would know that I was partially responsible. And two,
that's really big of you.
Honestly,
to think that way.
My current situation, I'm right there with you. If something happened, it's I fucked up.
Yeah.
Time. And to be able to say that, I think is pretty big.
It is huge.
But in that situation, but if it's like we've been dating for 2 years and we live together, fuck you, get out.
Well, yeah. That's different.
Get you and your kids out of my house. Right?
yeah.
Like and I think that goes into it a lot too. Like if
it's like any other investment, right? It's like we've built a family, like we spent a lot of time investing to one another. Like we're investing in the future of our blood, like I haven't been the perfect husband, you know what I mean? Like, and I would do everything in my power to get over it. Now, let me say this. I'm not sure that I could.
Yeah, you would try.
It's
a hard thing.
You can forgive, but you won't forget.
I would do everything in my power to get over it. But I think that generally speaking, like it's almost like it's impossible. It's impossible to say because every relationship is so uniquely dynamic that like in some circumstances you might have every right to shoot that motherfucker square in the head.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is there in any case in which like it's okay for someone to just For a girl to just sock a dude in the eye, is that ever okay?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm.
I think
part of what I'm wondering.
I think so.
At some point, like physical violence is justified because of how much damage you do to this person's life.
Correct, but it's not a shoe that fits every foot.
No, it's just like circumstantially.
Yeah.
Is murder ever okay?
Yeah.
I mean, this is no judgment. Like you've been together with this person for 30 years, and you have a fucking 15-year-old together.
Maybe okay is the wrong word.
Justified.
Understandable. You know, it's probably how I would frame it.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one of those things I'm thinking about. Another thing I'm just thinking about in general, because I'm getting magic cards. So that's around this time of year, I be getting some magic cards, and I be playing magic. And my group gets for some free time to get together, play some.
Trying to run some women off or something.
Sorry, ladies.
Nice.
You gonna play with some Funkos while you're over there?
No.
You gonna talk about Andrew Tate, and Bitcoin?
Rip pulling it up. Yes. But the Funkoland's part of Is it Funkoland? No, Funkoland was a video game store that sold used games. No, Funko Pop. I was just thinking, because Magic's doing more and more crossovers. They announced next year's lineup. It's going to be 6 sets. 3 of those are going to be crossovers. So fully half of Magic is going to be crossover.
It must be where the money is.
And it is now tournament legal. Before, like, these crossover cards,
the Transformers cards.
Exactly. Before, these crossover cards are not. So now you can't play them with your regular cards normally. But now they're fully.
Now I can play Rat Bat.
you can have, because Command is a 4-way game. It's a 4-way. You can literally have
Marvel,
Bryu fighting against Sauron, fighting against Iron Man in the same table.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so I'm definitely I'm part of the problem now, because I'm buying into Final Fantasy when it comes out, because I'm a fucking sucker. But what I came to think about is that crossovers, because I was talking about brand identity. I was talking about how brand identity gets watered down, but the things that are getting crossovers from don't have crossovers. And I was thinking that's what separates the weak from the strong.
That's interesting.
Strong franchises and strong brands lend their names to other people's crossovers, and
are reluctant to take on.
They don't need to,
right?
And the weak ones have no identity of their own. They're watered down.
Probably true,
right? Because Final Fantasies don't have crossovers from other people, but they give their name to everybody else,
right?
And so Magic is taking on these names because Magic has lost its own identity. Fortnite has no identity. Smash Brothers have no identity.
Yeah.
So that's
Batman will have crossovers with Turtles, but you won't necessarily see Turtles in a Batman book.
Exactly. Like, the stronger you are, the least like you're gonna have to bring in somebody else, and the more crossovers you're in, the stronger you are.
I'm with that observation.
Yeah. It's like, so Batman is a super strong brand because Batman is in a lot of other people's shit.
Yeah. It was almost 100 years.
Yeah, and
crazy.
And Superman, like how often do you see someone come into a Superman book or a Batman book that's not DC?
Right.
You don't see Sonic the Hedgehog in a Batman book, but you might see Batman.
You might see Sonic. You might see Batman. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So that was thinking of, and I'm looking at a lot of these crossovers. It's like, oh yeah, no wonder, because these are brands that people really love, and they'll buy into your shit because they're in it.
And it's an echelon, right? So you can have a weaker brand. But if there's a weaker brand,
even weaker
still applies.
Like Transformers, it's not the strongest of brands right now.
Look at Freddy Krueger popping up in a Mortal Kombat game.
Right. It's not a huge brand, but it's big enough. It's bigger than Mortal Kombat. In Mortal Kombat. Yeah. So that was just something I was looking into.
Yeah, I think you're dead on.
Still, we haven't played Minecraft for a couple of weeks. We just started again last night. A new update came out. Because. What did I put out my cat? A lot of people if you're on Instagram, and like, it sucks because we've had this cat since it was a kitten. This first time, this is the first pet we got together. I've had cats when we got together with Krista, but they're
sure. But
we got these 2 cats together, and this one was particularly hers, and we had him since a kitten. So we just got the box back last night. So it feels weird because I feel like I'm collecting little boxes of dead cats because I have 3 of them now, and the size they were when they were alive. So like I have a little pagoda of cat boxes, And so it's been rough, especially for her too, because it's her cat, and she works from home for the past 5 years, so she hangs out with her cat every fucking day.
Sure.
And I'm torn up by it too, and I'm torn up because she's torn up. But and you know how I feel about death. I'm very almost nonchalant. Like things die, everything dies, and that's okay. But now I'm having a sense of guilt about getting over things. I feel like I should be more upset or be upset longer. And when I am upset about it, like I let it pass relatively quickly. And I feel like that's, I don't know.
I think you're still upset about this cat. I think you are still upset about your grandmother.
I miss my grandma.
I think that when things,
I think that when things me that much.
But I don't know.
Everybody processes grief differently, man.
The day I worked, I found out in the morning, within the first hour of working, that day my grandma died at work, from work, which is weird as fuck, because I work in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And my grandma's been dead for 2 years. Both last year and this year, I worked the day before Thanksgiving, the same shift at the same store, which is like, I have to laugh at it. Sometimes I have to laugh at stuff, not to be upset. It's just like, it just checks out that way.
It's just the random draw happened that way.
Yeah, it's just like both years.
But I mean, like, there's the sign, right? Like that there's still impact. There's still impact.
But that ripple work
hasn't faded out.
Like, because people, I mean, worked at this company long enough to have seen people have their loved ones die, and people take 2 weeks off.
So, like, I think
they can't handle being at work.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that everybody, like, how you handle it is one thing. The fact that it's having an impact is what matters. Like, not to say matters like it's better or worse to have a longer or shorter impact, but just to say in the context of the conversation, the impact is what matters. And the impact is still there. How you function within the impact is different. So, like, my best friend died when I was at work, and I kept working, and it was maybe arguably for the best.
Yeah, what else are you gonna
do? But like, it still fucks with me today. It doesn't mean that
But you're able to like for me, like metaphorically, I'm able to put that in a box and just put it in my pocket.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's almost a disservice to the memory.
But no, because you always feel that box in your pocket. It's a big ass box. Like, you put your phone in your pocket, you can feel the phone in your pocket.
Right.
You put that box in your pocket, it's even bigger than the phone. It's like, fuck, man, I wish I could get this fucking box out of my pocket, but can't just put that one on the desk.
I see.
Because
I didn't forget about it. I'm trying to put them out of my mind, but
it's still there.
That's the act. It's like I'm trying to not remember them. Is that like bad because I'm disrespecting them by trying to not remember them?
I think it's just what you can handle. Like you may not be in a place where you can remember them. I just had somebody out here recently, and we were talking about, like, because me and this person had lost some mutual friends. And he, stressed that, like, his biggest issue with him dealing with loss is when he starts to forget the true texture and sound of the voice. Mm-hmm. And, we're talking about people that have been gone now for almost 10 years. Sometimes now it hurts worse than then because you remembered so much then and the memories are fading now. And like, I feel that shit. Like, I think it's all, there's no good or bad to it, as long as you're not doing something super destructive, I think.
Is it bad to write off people that hasn't died yet? Not write them off, but like we found out our cat was dying because it got sick.
No, there's self-preservation.
Like, but before we even got him diagnosed, I'm like, he's not that old of a cat. I'm like, in my mind, it's like it could be bad, and in my mind, it's just like just act as if he's gonna die. And the thing is, I've done that since my grandma died. I've done that with my grandfather. It's not bad. It's been 2 years since my grandma died. It's
not bad.
Since my grandma died, I'm like, well, my grandfather's gonna die anytime. He might as well be dead. Not in a disrespectful way, but you know what I mean?
I've talked about my buddy Cat, right? Like, he died a couple years ago now, and I spent a lot of time with this dude, like, and he was one of those dudes, like, you just don't meet. They're like these truly special people. You just don't meet many like them. They're people that walk into a room, and when they leave the room, they've made the room better than how they found it. just from their presence, right? Like you just don't find that type of motherfucker. It's like something in the water. It's something special, unique, the je ne sais quoi, right? But when he got sick, I mean, like I had other buddies of mine that were close to him, so we went over there a lot, and I hated it. Hated it. Didn't want to be there. Didn't want to see him. Didn't want to be anywhere close to. Hated that we were there. Was mad at the person taking us because I didn't want anything to do with it. You know, because I think psychologically, I needed time to start removing that person from me. Right. You know, for my own health. You know, and it doesn't mean that I loved him any less. You know, doesn't mean that I don't miss him. That doesn't mean any of those things. It just means that like I knew what this dude meant to me, and I think subconsciously I needed to prepare myself for life without him.
And you also like when someone is dying a long death, you don't want your memory of them to be of that.
That's
right?
one of the reasons I'm glad into my grandma.
Well, so I literally watched my grandma go. I mean, literally, we were there and she was gone. And she had leukemia, and it was rough. And you know, I remember that, but I made myself like that's not who that person was.
It's hard.
My grandma was. You know, I remember that sweet old lady with a cane walking up our steps carrying like the bottom tray of refrigerator shit in. Like that's just my memory of her.
My buddy,
and a lot of other stuff.
Like the thing I'm most grateful for is. Like that dude Cat, like my last interaction with him, he had cancer, and my last interaction with him was a hug, and then he like pulled me tight and like whispered in my ear, "Hey, when you get home, you better take a shower because this shit is super contagious." You know, and that's him.
Yes,
it was him, and like, you know, and it. I'm not okay with it at all. I'm not okay with any of it. There's like, I worked with this dude, and where I work, there's a picture of him. It's like a fucking, what do you call it? Like a collage, you know?
He's in it.
And I fucking hate it. I hate it. I love that he's being remembered, and I love that like new people come in, and I can be like, I want you to know who this person was.
Yeah.
You know? But I hate seeing it, you know, but it's like, it doesn't mean like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's the same thing with my grandmother. Like, you know, for years, like I'm talking about 5 years, 6, 7 years after she was passed, like I was still not sleeping through the night, waking up, crying, having to like, I would just go start cleaning the bathrooms in my house, like just to do something. You know, I obviously I don't deal well with, no one does, but like, I think that one, I had less time to prepare. Right.
I feel like you deal with loss as well especially how much you deal with.
Maybe
like,
I think
more than the average person to me,
but I think that's, you know, and I've talked about that a little bit. I think in some regards, that's just a number game. Like, you know, your network is your net worth. And I know a lot of people, and when you know a lot of people, you lose a lot of people. You know, but you also, to be fair, you go to a lot of babies' first birthdays. You go to a lot of weddings. You go to a lot of great moments as well. You know, it's like the gift and the curse. But how you deal with it, like, there's no sense in having guilt in how you deal with it. The guilt, I think, if you're going to have any guilt, there's healthy guilt to deal with, and how you treated that person or whatever, who you were to that person. You know, even like times you took for granted, times you didn't take advantage of, because
that's a lot.
Because you the more you think about it and contemplate it, I think the more that you process it. But for saying like, you know, like the lineage of the dead shouldn't be disrupted by the health of the living.
Yeah.
You know, and like you've got to do what's best for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky in the sense that like I've moved a lot in my life. So I've never had to deal with the spaces. I know we're talking about cats and people; they're not the same. Don't get me wrong. As much as a joke about cats, animals, no people. I know people are different, and animals are animals. Right?
Yeah,
but like this is different in the sense that first time I have to deal with a space. right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like and in which something was,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's no longer is.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
that's
yeah,
there
yeah,
every
yeah, yeah.
single day.
I mean, I did it with the
I've
dogs.
moved so much. None of my houses are. I have no memory in any of the spaces I'm in now where people used to be.
Yep,
Like
yep.
my grandma.
Yep.
None of it. So it's weird to have a missing spot in a physical space.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like you look like your animals have a tendency to have their spot,
Right,
You know,
yeah.
like the spots, and like you look over and that spot seems incredibly empty now.
Yeah.
Whereas functionality wise, it's not right, but it feels incredibly empty.
It's like something I'm missing.
And I think that shit. This is just my personal opinion, and I know like they're my dog babies and all this shit. I get it.
I saw a dog grandma bumper sticker the other day.
Perfect. But like, I think that like, this is my personal opinion based on my, so it's only my experiences, but the pain of losing a family member and the pain of losing a pet equal. The speed at which you get over one versus the other.
Because you're not going to get a new grandma,
right.
Right.
but you're going to get a new dog.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah, I know we're gonna get a new cat.
Right.
And
it's like it helps fill that void.
It does. And like, I don't know. I just see even the people our age. I just see everyone's on borrowed time. Like we all have to. That's coming. We all do gonna die at some point. So like,
Death waits for no man.
I just prepare. For, the one difference. I know it's me personally, for my own. I'm not saying morally is right and wrong for anybody else.
Yeah.
But like, if I become terminal in my life, which is possible for everybody, like I hope I have the balls to take myself out. Like, just having. I don't know how it is with a human. Like my grandma was bad, but she was overseas. I couldn't be around.
Yeah.
My mom went back a couple of times, but just. Like being around Walking Dead, man, it's awful. So like it was a week before we put Totoro down, but like every day was like we try to make it good, and we had good memories, but at the same time it's like it's bittersweet.
Yeah,
and
they're
it's just
tainted.
like, it's fucking awful. You know this thing is gonna die. We know the day because we're gonna put him down. So like every single day is like a death sentence, literally.
Yeah,
and it's fucking awful. I don't want to put anyone through that. But I would not want someone to like
and
come and look at me every day and just.
I don't
feel
know that anyone does, but I think that
some people really want to like live as long as they can.
No, I think those two things are different. I think wanting to live as long as you can and putting other people through that feeling are two different things.
Right. I just not willing. I want to not be willing to live longer and put other people through.
I want to live long enough to do heroin twice.
Yes.
I mean, the second time may kill you, but you'll at least get your
will kill you. That's a point, right?
At least I felt it the first time, and then now you can send me off.
Yeah. So that's. I'm sorry to think morbidly.
Yeah, I mean, you lost a fucking pet.
It's the holiday.
It's going to be on your brain.
What else should we talk about?
Right. I mean, we had him. It was 2 months old. 2 months old to 12 years old, which is 11. He didn't make it to 12, which is kind of short for a cat. They live up to like my last cat was like 16 or 18 years old.
Right.
So this is my parents' cat.
Oh,
her name's
cutie.
Callie. She's actually a kitten of one of our old cats.
So is
she's
a grandma.
tiny. She's
a real
tiny.
grandma.
She's the size of your cats, and she's an outside cat.
Oh no.
She's 18.
Oh my God! Really?
She's
outside cat don't live that long.
No, she's not. I take that back. She's 14.
That's really
and she's
long.
an outside cat. Like they don't let her in the house hardly at all.
They usually die between 8 to 10 years at outdoors, cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that.
I forget how big my cats are till we got home. I'm like, holy shit! I have like zoo animals living in my house compared to that little cat.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any people process it the way they process it. They deal with it the way they deal with it. It sucks,
Yeah, and I know people don't like to be around to put the animals down.
You have to. You owe it to them.
I have to.
You owe it to them.
This is not the first. It never changes.
You don't have a choice.
It doesn't.
In my opinion,
to watch someone to hold something as this life leaves is like
you have to.
It's nothing like that. Like feeling.
Well, I don't know about cats because cats do their own thing, but with a fucking dog, that motherfucker would not leave your side.
Right. Well, Toro sat on her lap. Yeah.
Right.
But they're different, but yeah.
Yeah, but like you owe it to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's that dude, the dude from the Bronx that is like a scientist. He's like
Bill Nye.
No, he had like a
Tyson.
Yes.
Yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'll watch him on YouTube.
So he
and Chuck Nice have a podcast together.
He had said one thing about his speech about dogs Have you ever heard that?
I don't know.
It's fucking great. He was like basically like, I'm going to fuck numbers and arbitrarily, but he was like, every minute for you is, 7 hours for a dog.
Yes, I've heard that. And that's,
and
me and Mason have gotten some really deep conversations about like,
and he's like, dogs take advantage of every fucking possibility you give them. You're like, hey, you want to go for a ride? They don't give a fuck where you're going.
They're not going to say,
They're just down to go for a ride.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to eat? Like, they don't even know what they're eating. They're just down to eat some shit. Like they embrace every opportunity they're given at its fullest potential because they're only given 1/7 of our lifespan, and we should try to be more like them. You know what I mean? Like, real shit.
yeah.
It's
But anyway.
Holding something while it dies is wild.
Yeah. Dude, I felt like when I had Bam, I felt like God came into my head and lefty-loosey my fucking skull, and like shit just came out of every fucking... My eyes were crying. I was drooling like a fucking idiot. Snot's coming out of my nose, But it's like that, you got it. You got to. Like, you owe it. You owe it to that dog, or that animal.
Yeah, it's the first time Chris had to put an animal down. Like, air quotes, luckily, I was able to make it. Because, like, the only opening they had was a Sunday at 3:30 or something like that. And I worked till 3 on Sunday. There was no way I could make it back. And I had to do some shit for my mom. So I didn't get back till 5. And I noticed her car wasn't home. I was like, oh, shit, is she okay?
Right.
I tried to call her, no answer. So I was like, fuck it. I drove to the vet, and I saw her car there. And apparently they had like a super busy day and a huge delay. So like as I walked in, they were preparing to put him down. And I was like, I made it.
Yeah.
Not a good thing,
no,
but
bittersweet.
You know what I mean?
Bittersweet.
Yeah. So
anyway,
that's all I have for this week.
Let me. It's been a long Nerd Week show. I guess you guys were gone last week.
It was at the top 5.
So, no. I mean, we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh shit! Wow.
I watched Garfield's Christmas.
This is the guy who doesn't like
speaking
watching.
of-
The guy who doesn't like
speaking of
watching
top-
stuff.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of cats, well, I watch like the holiday shit my kids.
And
with.
top 5 animals. We're talking about top 5 animals today.
Yeah, and we talk it's not like you just sit there like a fucking zombie. Like we talk during the shit and everything. It doesn't matter. But like there is like a really heartfelt moment in that. I haven't seen that shit in forever.
I don't even know that.
Does his mouth move when he talks?
No.
Is this a cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they go to visit John's family, and John's grandmother is there.
Okay, I have seen this.
And
It's just
she
been a
lost
minute.
her husband, and Garfield like sits on her lap while she's like watching the snowfall, and she starts reminiscing about her husband to Garfield.
Wow.
And it's like a fucking really powerful moment for like
That's for Garfield.
For like
that's
kind
not something
of-
I would think about Garfield.
for kind of a throwaway thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I recommend giving it a watch. It's like
if you want to get in your feels, I guess.
it's really well done. Anyway, so I'm headed to New York. As soon as not too long after I
Get
finish
your clock.
this show. No,
You're not going to Midtown, are you?
but we fucking I am. But we Laura and I, I'm sure she's probably home now. But we ended up getting in a fucking beef about it.
about going to New York.
Yeah, like 2 days ago. And it's a number of moving pieces surrounding it, right? But it was like I was like, well, what are your thoughts about what we're gonna do? And she's like, well, Saturday, I figured we had talked about going to Brooklyn because the kids had never been to Brooklyn, and I was like, yeah, I can show them, a couple of things that I know. And then she was like, well, and then visit my sister's house, and I was like, I didn't know, but I had an idea where her sister lived. And I was like, well, where does she live? And then she told me, and I looked it up, and it was actually further away than I thought it was. And then she was like, and then we'll go to MoMA in the afternoon. Like Maryland Museum of Modern Art.
Which is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, of course. And I was like, wait, you want to go from Midtown to downtown Brooklyn, to your sister's place, back to downtown Brooklyn, back to Midtown, to go to MoMA in one day.
That's in New York.
Yeah, and I was like, and
That's a lot
so
of
then
Ubers.
she took it as, I think, like a disruption of me with her seeing her sister.
Oh, but that's not.
Was that?
You like her?
has that
I
been-
love her.
Has that been the plan to see her this whole time? Was that part of
So
it?
it had been a conversation, but in my mind, that didn't necessarily mean we were going to her house.
I got you.
To meet up somewhere.
Yeah, and then I was also like, what like we can. we can go like she can meet us anywhere, or we can go another year for a longer period of time.
Plan out a vacation?
Where we can
a few days.
You know, like but anyway, it became like a whole thing, and then I think like I was trying to explain to her like just the geographic area.
Yes, the logistics of it.
Because I think that in her mind, everything's like Baltimore. You know, so it's like, wait, just 20 minutes over there, then 20 minutes over here, and it's like, no,
not at all.
But then there was a whole element of that, of like, why don't you take my word for shit when you clearly know that you don't know anything about, you know what I mean? Like if she was like, look, your elbow hurts, you should do this exercise, it'll help with your elbow. I would be like, no, you don't do that exercise. You do, because I don't know shit about that exercise, and I would take her word for it that she knows more than I do. But so it like spawned like a conversation with her that I don't think her and I are either of us are quite done with. But for the most part, we're good.
I mean, at least you make it clear that it wasn't about you not wanting to see her sister.
No, well, yeah, but I hope so.
How many days are you guys up there?
We come back Sunday.
So you're there 3 days? Like what?
Two and a half.
Not counting. Okay.
2.5. All right. So then
Taking the train up?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the money. That's the money move right
For
there.
sure. Talked about Skeleton Crew already. I started working on a new drawing because I got a new laptop. I mean, I did get a new laptop. I haven't put in service yet, but I got a new
tablet.
Started a new drawing. I've been doing this series recently with like combiner teams based on like not famous, but movie or TV posters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing the Technobots based off the show Silicon Valley.
Because they're nerds.
Yeah, and they're like into tech stuff. And like, you know, so like I'm interested.
There's a lot of cool like movie poster.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking of like the Winter Soldier poster I have.
Yeah.
Walking and then other people around.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, not blue on one side and red the other with, Technicolors and then one guy's face.
And I have a Suicide Squad poster. Probably a good one.
There's a template now for those posters.
Yeah, probably.
They're interchangeable.
Canva.
So we also watched Frosty, like the classic Frosty the Snowman cartoon. And a comment was made during it. So
I have something good for you on this, but go ahead.
The police interact with Frosty. I think they think, because he's at the greenhouse or whatever, and they think he's like breaking in or something, and they like confront Frosty and then they let him go.
They confront the snowman.
Well, yes.
To be clear. Okay.
Yes, well, it was Frosty.
Sure.
The snowman.
The snowman. And I don't know if it was me or Jaina, but one of us said, do you think it's white privilege that the cop let Frosty go?
That's great. All right, let's do this, Bobby. Let's do this. Give me your left and right opinions on Frosty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Because you just watched it.
I know, but I don't think I'm prepared. I got to tell you, I'm operating off about 2.5 hours of sleep right now.
That's fine.
But
the white privilege, that's
a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Lastly, there's going to be some changes made to this room here around.
Are we finally getting the buddy booth?
No.
Are we getting couches?
No. Anything else?
Are we getting a new table?
Yes.
New chairs?
Are you retiring?
Yes.
Do we get to test the chairs?
Are you retiring this cool table?
Yes. I'm going to be putting it in the dumpster probably. Or somebody said you should auction it off on Patreon.
Actually, before you throw this away, talk to me because I might want this.
Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good work service.
It's still a good table.
Does it come apart?
Yeah. The legs come
I'd probably have to hire college hunks hauling junk to move it.
Right. So anyway, I don't know
if I'll move this or not.
I'm getting a new table. It's going to be the same size, but it's going to be octagon shaped.
Oh, like those card tables.
But it's going to be a 2 feet space for the 4 sections, and then it'll be just cut here. So
you could actually get 8 people.
Pull the guy.
Yeah, well, maybe yes, but also like just to get around one another, it should be just stuff like that. And then it's going to be shorter, and it'll have proper like chairs instead of stools. And I'm going to make sure the chairs are comfortable. Obviously, I'm just spending, because of all the stuff I'm doing down here now, I'm spending a lot of time down here.
Might as well make it as comfortable as possible.
And I might as well make it as comfortable as possible.
I hear you.
I'll show you an image of it.
But that's
what it's going to look like.
Oh,
somebody-
snap!
did you have it
Sharp.
made?
Yeah, I'm having a custom made.
You can have a custom made table.
Yeah.
you
How
can-
much? How much?
Bro, you can have custom made anything.
Yeah. So I think
Does that make you getting it done locally?
so not locally enough, unfortunately. The answer to that is honestly yes, but it's still too far to like pick up myself.
Gotcha.
But it's going to be expensive, but it's also it's worth the investment just because the amount of time I spend down here.
yeah.
Are we getting new chairs or same chairs?
New chairs. Well, because these will be too tall.
Oh, it's gonna be a shorter
It's
table.
going to be a shorter table, so we'll be down on the.
Oh, you're gonna hurt. You're gonna hurt Pinkerton's knees.
Speaking of shorter,
You're gonna get down to our level.
in my shop we have two. I think they're actually like for drafting or something. They're kind of stool chairs on a swivel that have wheels. And then you know what? My workbench I built in my shop is. I doubt Joey could use it without sitting on something because it's so high. So I'm sitting there painting something yesterday, and I hear. And next thing you know, I'm like this. My arms are at elbow.
the
my
chair.
elbows are at shoulder height. I'm like, what the fuck? So I think I probably need to either buy a new chair or something.
So they will be lower,
pretty funny.
but they also will have backs.
Oh, thank God.
So that you won't have. So like you're going to be trading in your back issues for your knee issues, probably.
No,
but-
it's fine. I mean, my knee issues are normally fine. It's standing up that hurts.
Yeah.
Sitting is fine.
So anyway, that's the
That's
plan.
awesome.
Yeah, and then notes, which we only have two, and they shouldn't take too long. But one is R.I.P. to Morgan Lofting, the voice of Baroness, and she's done some other stuff too. But the voice of Baroness in the G.I. Joe cartoon, she has.
Everyone's dropping one.
R.I.P. We're getting down to the
has-
nitty gritty on these voice actors. from
She's
these
also did Black Cat
50-year-old cartoon.
for Spider-Man,
Huh?
I believe you.
and she says Transformers series. I'm not sure.
I don't remember ever hearing her name as like, you know, a lot of these voice actors will come to events and stuff.
Oh,
But
she
I'm
was-
not that up on the G.I. Joe con scene, to be honest.
She was Moon Racer and Firestar for Transformers.
I know Moonrace.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
They're like the two, yeah. And then she did voice work on the Arnold Schwarzenegger starring Total Recall as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So rest in peace and thoughts to fans, family, friends. And then the last one is a documentary that's coming out that I'm interested in seeing. It's called Selling Superman. This guy has like a graded issue of Action Comics #1 or whatever with Superman, and it's about his journey in trying to sell it. You know, it's graded and everything else, so it's worth a pretty penny. And it looks like it's gonna be interesting. Like
He's trying to
That's cool.
yeah, like because you got to have the right market and all that. You know, like, it's a very specific kind of thing, isn't it?
The thing about collectibles and prices is just like
They're only worth what someone will pay.
exactly like you put a number on paper, but it's like if no one's gonna buy for that price, then it's not worth that. You're just making shit up.
Yep.
The guy who
That's why I like eBay. Like when you go to look at something that was you can sell, you see last sold price. I'm like, okay, that's what it was worth. You can see the number.
exactly that quantifies it.
But that's why I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
The guy who I don't know what he works for Jazzwares in some capacity, and he is involved with the wrestling side of it. So I know him. That's how I know him. But he's a big collector. Like he has a bunch of like the PSA 10 Charizards and things like that. And he put together the quintessential rookie card wrestling set. It's a Japanese card set, but there's a Hulk Hogan that's considered his rookie card in it.
Wow.
And he has like the top
No, yeah,
10
cards.
The top 10 cards of this. It's such a rare set. He has PSA 10s on all of them, and maybe not 10s, but they're all like top 3 graded of that card of all time.
And he keeps them clean.
Probably, yeah. He probably does. Day.
And then we have some questions, which I will breeze through. So Todd R. He says, most expensive but disappointing wank. Hello, current raging crew. The disappointment I felt yesterday with being unable to watch Thick 2020 or Butt Blasters during my hopefully final visit to that cold and heartless fertility center jerk-off room was unmeasurable. I was really looking forward to partaking in provided material this final time. But alas, every DVD I tried failed to load, so to speak. It also got me reminiscing about the giant box of porn VHS I had inherited from my grandfather after his passing when I was 13.
Wow, Todd.
Wow, what a guy. Nice to meet you.
Well, him or his granddad?
His granddad.
Oh,
Both question.
don't,
granddad.
Don't cry, Todd. Here's a box of pornography.
Yeah. At 13,
That'll-
I'd have been like, keys to the fucking kingdom.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll be a millionaire renting these at school.
I always remember him as a bit of a of a hound, but this porn tastes were surprisingly soft. Only a few hardcore classic 70s porns, but it was mostly just strip teases. Which brings me to the question of the day. What format do you remember most fondly with porn? Laserdisc, squiggly lines, channel praying for the clear titty, dirty mags, HBO's Real Sex, and so on. Bonus if you have a memorable porn. Hope everyone had a safe and full Thanksgiving. Bye.
It's a giant VHS for me.
Mine's
the phone box.
Mine's going to be magazines. Mostly.
Mine's DVDs only because it felt like I got a Ferrari.
I mean, by the time DVDs came out, I was I was mad.
Like I was like shit. Like I can pull up, freeze frame, slow mo. I can like a VHS.
Oh, what about the angles? The multiple angles.
Yeah,
that was a big deal.
Yes.
I don't even want to skip chapters because fast forwarding and rewinding is for the fucking birds nowadays.
I remember I had some VHS tape that I have no idea where it came from, but I want to say it's one of the classic porn movies, Beyond the Green Door. I think it's all swinger shit, to be honest. But it was like you could barely make out what was going on.
Yeah, and I remember and
then Cinemax when it was a free trial.
I definitely Real Sex on HBO definitely did the job a number of times.
Yeah.
There was also there was a documentary on HBO about a famous prostitution area in the Bronx called Hunts Point, where you followed a couple of
You've been watching these documentaries for a long time.
Oh yeah, where you follow these these sex workers basically in this area of called Hunts Point, which was basically like Amsterdam of fucking New York City, where the cops just pretty much left it alone for the large part, and they were mic'd up. So you got to hear real sex, which to me was
that's where you are. You can't have mute porn. From that point on, you were stuck on audio.
Might have been it.
I watched a documentary one time. It might have been about the fentanyl epidemic in Baltimore. But I just remember there's this old scraggly woman
never get you off
who was given blowjobs for 2 cigarettes.
That's wild.
2 cigarettes.
That's what's worth, I guess.
That'll do it.
I still remember my first VHS, and from time to time I've tried to find. Because I remember it was my one. I've watched it so many times. I remember some of the scenes in it, and it was wild because one of the scenes had a guy with, I'm assuming prosthetic. I can't remember now because it was so long ago. But at the time, I believed it was real. 2 dicks.
Oh,
one on top of the other, and he was single man DPing this Asian girl. But there was other scenes in it.
Wild.
It is wild in the mid 90s, right? But there was other scenes in it, and just for nostalgic reasons, I want to find that video. But there's been so much fucking porn made, it is impossible to find specific things from the 90s.
So mine was Candy Stripers 2. That was the first one that I ever saw. Borrowed it from Adam, who got it from his cousin, that had the classic 80s trope of a huge novel where the pages were cut out in the middle and the VHS fit inside of it.
That's amazing.
And I remember a number of things from it, but it was a hospital. And these are obviously the nurses, and there was patients there, and somebody had released this gas inside the hospital that made you ravenously horny.
Yes.
And so doctors are fucking patients are fucking each other, everybody's having sex with everybody, and that was the sort of plot to it.
And that's why I got a doctorate.
But I remember one. I remember with this. I think it was a nurse, and this guy's talking to her, and he's like, "Can I get you something to eat?" And she's like, "Maybe." And he's like, "How about a meat popsicle?" And
oh my god, it's that bad. Is there
here's it on DVD. The DVD cover's got a little anime type, little cartoon vibe, and it says "guaranteed to make your temperature rise." Do you know what I mean?
So
have you ever revisited watching it?
No, I haven't, but I should.
You should try.
Yeah.
I remember in the heyday of wrestling in the 90s, there was a porn. It was called Nude World Order. It was the NW. I never found it. I know it came out, but one of the actresses was one of those hot Asian chicks with big fake tits that was popular then. I can't think of her name, but she was in that, and I just remember me and my buddies were in some porno store, and we bought that, and it was called Patent Leather, and the scene is the dude's getting ready to finish, and she says, "Don't get it on my patent leather. I just distinctly remember because me and we watched it and we were all just like, don't get it on my patent leather.
As a wrestling fan, how do you feel about One Night in China?
I've watched it. She has some parts I'm not really familiar with down there. Yeah. No, I'm not ever going to watch it again. But
you watched it once as a fan.
I'm sure. What was X-Pac was in it too. So.
Was he?
Yeah, he was one of the. They made a tape together. It was one of those leaked sex tapes.
Oh yeah,
it's leaked.
Lou wrote in and said, happy Thanksgiving. First off, I listened to the episode that dropped on Thanksgiving, so happy Turkey Day, fellas. The topic about Pinkerton's knees resonated with me since I have more metal in me than my Mazda does. I can relate to not wanting a surgery until it's completely unbearable, but I really wish that I wouldn't have waited so long to get my hip replaced. I was told I needed it in 2017 and didn't end up getting surgery till 2023. I literally put myself through over 6 years of unnecessary pain just because I was trying to avoid what ended up being an outpatient procedure.
Yep. Oh, wow.
The topic
hip replacement is an outpatient procedure.
A lot of things are outpatient now, man.
The topic about snitching also hit home for me. When I was a teenager, I participated in an act that necessitated paying for the replacement of a telephone pole, transformer, and air brake switch. The other teenagers involved caved pretty quickly, but I held out until finally I had no choice but to admit my own involvement. The lesson I learned is that if you are going to do some shady shit, do it alone, because the only one you can count on not to rat is yourself. Yeah.
Dead men tell no lies.
Lastly, on the topic of Joey getting a hard-on while getting his teeth cleaned, did the dental technician notice? And if so, was she flattered or did she look away in disgust?
Or was it going to be Candy Stripers 3 Dental Dam?
I need more details.
I mean, I don't know. We didn't talk about it.
As always, love the show. And if this isn't read until close to Christmas, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry
Lou,
Christmas.
Wrinkly Scrotum. Paul C. writes in, if happiness had a smell, what would it smell like to you? If that's a little too broad, what smells just make you happy inside and why? For me, it's the smell of Concord grape jelly. We never had it growing up, but something about the smell of it reminds me of the frozen concentrated grape juice that we sometimes had growing up. Interestingly, the smell of the actual grape juice doesn't do it for me. It's specifically the jelly.
I don't know, jelly.
Fucking chocolate chip cookies. That smell makes me fucking like.
Oh, in the oven. The oven.
Yeah. Brownies in the oven.
Onions being brown.
Bobby looks confused.
Yeah.
Just like, that onions, peppers, whatever somebody's cooking.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, what's that?
Even like a Christmas tree, like a real Christmas tree smell, like the pine. Makes me we have fake trees, so I never really smell it unless it's the synthetic. But like when I'm in someone's house and has a real Christmas tree, I'm always like, it smells good.
I love the smell.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, my mom did laundry for us while we were gone, and obviously she uses different laundry detergent than us, and it's just like, even my wife's like, oh, I love the way your mom's laundry smells. It smells like your mom. Let's switch to whatever laundry detergent she's using.
Joe S. writes in and says, been a long, long time since I wrote in. I think the last time was shortly after, and he says he says my passed in May 2022, so I don't know if he wants us to say or not. I'll just leave it alone. Since then, there's been this long roller coaster of lows and highs, of low lows and high highs. For instance, he does say he just missed out on writing the word. His wife passed, God bless the dead. Yeah. For instance, I found out my wife never updated her life insurance like she said she did, and all $500K went to her ex-husband.
Oh my God.
Who she thought was the definition of an idiot, and I had to take said ex to court to see my stepdaughter at all. I had to take my ex to court to see my stepdaughter at all. I don't know. I get 1 weekend a month down from being a primary parent to a beautiful little girl I've helped raise since she was 3 and is now 10. God damn. Heartbreaking. There's been some good too. I reconnected with some friends I hadn't spoken to in a long time, got out of some staggering credit card debt, and learned a lot about myself through an excellent therapist. Also got some decent, fairly dirty sex. There you go. Huh. I traded all to have my wife back, but unfortunately it's not an option.
Of course.
My point is that for the first time, I think I've been aware of watching my life turn very abruptly on a sharp pivot. Have you ever had similar experiences, not looking back, but while you're in the shit of it, knowing that shit's just going to be completely different going forward because it's kind of wild. Thanks for all the shows, guys. It helped more than you could ever know. Our pleasure. So I mean, there's two. There's two for me specifically. Maybe three. The birth of my first child. I remember that very vividly, Jaina, and thinking to myself, like, your life will never be the same. Getting the job that I have, I remember the first day of work, and thinking to myself, like, you're in for a ride. I can't go into too much detail on that here. And then lastly, something that I've gone into detail about on Wine and Cheese on Patreon that you can check out at your own discretion. But I was involved in a legal matter where a friend of mine was facing a significant amount of jail time. I was facing a little bit of jail time potentially. And it was in 2003 that it happened. And when it happens, right, people get locked up and on, like, you just realize, like, oh, fuck. I could have just thrown away a portion of I could have just thrown away my life.
Yeah.
You know?
And just like that.
Just like that. And then everything, like, you know, like there's a Hove line for everything, but it was all good a week ago. Mm-hmm. You know?
Abruptly change.
And then, like, nothing seems safe anymore.
You don't take anything for granted anymore after that, right?
Yeah. You know, and then, like, to be fair, that whole thing worked itself out, and I wasn't charged with anything, and one of my best friends at the time was found not guilty, and it was the day before Thanksgiving, 2004, and it was probably the best Thanksgiving I've ever had in my life. A lot to be thankful for.
Thanks to give, yeah.
I guess for me, it would be getting divorced. Mm-hmm. I mean, it had fallen apart before we got divorced, but that, and then just, you know, trying to go through the legal battle for custody.
Yeah.
You know, I knew, like, that got kind of nasty, and I knew her and I would never really have a decent relationship at all going forward, which is a blessing. And moving to Maryland. I mean, I literally left my support net in Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And moved up here, relied on you fucks.
Yeah.
And it seems to have worked out pretty good.
Little Old Bay.
But
Oh, God.
You know, I always tell the story. Kelly and I were up here looking for a house, and we somehow ended up over there at Rundle Mills, and there's a Chick-fil-A, and we go in the Chick-fil-A. And I think we were just getting breakfast that morning and got our breakfast, and I'm going over there to get napkins and whatever, and there's salt, and there's pepper, and there's Old Bay.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? It's probably pretty good on their fries. I'm good.
It's great on their fries. It's great on any fries.
I mean, it's great. Yeah, it's a great fry season.
Yeah.
You want a Maryland style? It's funny traveling. Maryland style crab cakes in Des Moines. I'm like, no.
Yeah. No.
If I want crab cakes, I'll eat them where the crabs come from.
Yep. What about you, Joey?
I mean, I graduated from pharmacy school. Like, I just like almost overnight, making like 4 times money as you did. Like, completely changes everything.
Yeah,
and like having a degree. I went from a 2-year degree because I didn't even bother going to college to be like, oh yeah, I have a doctorate. It completely changes your outlook on life and like how not important pieces of paper are.
Well, I think that, like, there's probably for you. I imagine that boarding school was a
because I was going to say going like
I had a question, Joey. So how old were you when you guys moved here?
That is my next one.
Moved where
to America.
10.
So you remember?
I remember. I grew up in Asialand.
Right, but like, I guess what I'm asking is, were you well aware of what was happening, or was it just like one day, okay, we're moving, or was it like, did the family discuss this to a point where you were expecting the move?
I was expecting the move, but as a child, it was still like unexpected and abrupt, and my world got turned upside down. And I was grandma's.
Did it get flipped, turned upside down?
I had to take a minute, just sit right there.
Figure out how I became the Prince of Bel Air, Maryland.
Yes.
You like that? You like that, guys? Why are there so many California cities in Maryland?
There's a California, Maryland. I
saw that on the map the other day, and then of course,
not too far from Bel Air.
Someone told me they were from Pasadena one time, and I'm like, oh, cool, okay. Turns out they live 2 hours away, not fucking 40 hours away.
Mm-hmm. And so I like, yeah, 'cause I was grandma's kid. Like I was raised by grandma, so like that was the biggest thing.
Was there any thought of grandma coming too?
Did she vaguely? We talk about me being able to go back to visit grandma every year, which did not end up being. It's so expensive. Like
it is.
I know they were just telling me that made me feel better. I did end up being able to go back a few times, and then eventually my parents got to such a spot that they were able to bring grandma over.
How did you come? How did you?
I'm gonna come.
How did you come here? Like, what did you like? Did you fly?
Yeah, on a fly. I remember being first time on a plane.
Because you can
they built a raft.
You can't.
That's my parents' jam, dude. They love them some Neil Diamond,
bro.
I doubt they listened to that on the way over. I just have a strange feeling. But was that? I mean, you don't have enough memory of that to say you can remember. Oh, this is going to be different.
No, it was very different because I didn't fucking speak English. I didn't know nothing. Fucking like I remember the first day of school. So it was like there's 2 different lunches to choose from at elementary school.
Pizza or the other thing.
I don't know what they were, but I specifically remember knowing the word chicken. I couldn't read it, but like they were trying to. I don't know what they were saying because I can't remember because I don't understand at the time. But I remember hearing the word chicken. I'm like chicken, and I had chicken nuggets for my first day at school.
Nice,
not a bad start.
Not a bad start.
Probably tasted a little different than the ones Grandma used to make, right?
Yeah.
I don't imagine Grandma made chicken nuggets. But your grandma didn't have an air fryer for. But yeah,
it was a completely different lifestyle. Like my entire life was not that I had much roots. As 10 years old,
everyone you knew was
Asian was very close knit family. So when we came here, we moved to my father's side's grandparents' house, which I did not care for. There's a reason why after that short period of living with them and then being on our own that I've never looked back. I didn't give a fuck when either one of them died. I was really mad when side grandma came into my life and found out about the whole side family. But anyway, it was a rough change from a grandmother I loved to a grandma I didn't give a shit about. It's not the same.
No, not at all. So with that, we can start wrapping up.
Play us out, Bobby.
I want to give a shout out to Phil on Twitter and on our notes. I want to give a shout out to Ricky on our videos. I want to give a shout out to Dante on Facebook and Jana on Instagram. And hopefully we can get back together again, the 3 of us, before the end of the year. Would that be something?
We can make it happen.
And with that,
Flappy Labius.
Tasty tank.
Tight dick player.
Poor bastards.